If you like the story, you can support the author on Patreon. Link is in the description.
Chapter 51, The Empress and Princess. The white clouds drifted above Silver Lake City. A gust of wind washed out the walls, giving a cold sensation to everyone within it. Water droplets fell one after another, starting a light but enjoyable rain. As the atmosphere gradually chiller than before, who wouldn't want a cup of warm coffee? And that's how Yulong bizarrely encountered one of the Against the Gods heroines. The Blue Wind Empire's princess, King Yu. Fun fact. The princess used Lan Sueruo when introducing herself, as she accompanied her sick mother. After all, the surname King will attract too much attention. It was noontime. Lan Sueruo went to the buffet lounge, which she didn't know existed, and curiously ordered food for her mother. She only picked the tasty-looking ones and eventually stopped at the dessert section. She was about to order some cookies when a youth stood beside her and ordered a cup of coffee. She didn't think much about it until they pointed at the same cookie under a glass counter. The cookie they pointed out is none other than macarons. Ack! They stared at each other awkwardly. You can take it. Lan Sueruo offered immediately with a small smile. Although she wanted to try the unique-looking cookie, others should have tasted it first. Not to mention, the handsome golden-eyed youth looks a year younger than her. Yulong scratched his cheek and replied, "No, you can take it. I'll wait for them to make another one." "No, you should take it." Lan Sueruo shook her head gently. Yulong was adamant either, "No, you." They kept doing this back and forth for a few minutes before the person behind the counter told them some freshly made macarons were ready. Of course, it was fast because the shadow agents didn't want to disappoint Yulong. Pfft! They chuckled in amusement. Yulong cupped his hand politely, "Yulong." Lan Sueruo. The princess also exchanged the gesture. "Sueruo as stay as pure as the white snow." Yulong tilted his head as he caught the meaning behind her words. Lan Sueruo blinked in surprise and giggled, "Yes. My mother gave me this beautiful name. It's a good name." Yulong nodded slightly. "Well, I hope we meet each other later again." Yulong turned around and walked away while sipping his coffee, leaving Lan Sueruo amazed. The princess watched the youth's back and was amazed because her beauty didn't affect him. Even though Lan Sueruo was only 14, many people praised her for her beauty. In the future, she'd definitely grow into a breathtaking beauty. Coupled with her aristocratic upbringing, only a handful of individuals could compete with her. Unfortunately, Lan Sueruo doesn't care much about her status and chooses to stay humble due to her mother's education. Lan Sueruo hummed and brought the tray back to their room. Upon returning to the hotel suite, Lan Sueruo saw her mother sitting on the balcony to watch over the lake nearby. Her gaze is profound, as expected from the Empress of the Blue Wind Empire. Lan Shiro smiled at her daughter, "Sueruo, you're back. And I brought you food. Let's eat together." Lan Sueruo placed the tray on the wooden table beside her mother. After tasting the food, they surprisingly liked everything on the tray. Even Lan Shiro, who wasn't that hungry, ate the foods her daughter brought wholeheartedly. "Tea, that was good," Lan Shiro said while wiping her mouth with a napkin. "I didn't expect this hotel to have such a skilled chef. Even our royal chef isn't this good." Actually, Lan Sueruo began to retell her experience in the buffet long. The Empress was dumbfounded. "Such a convenient thing in the world? I even overheard that you can order hotel service, and they'd bring this level of food to our room directly." Lan Sueruo added sincerely. "So, basically like a servant calling." Lan Shiro nodded in understanding. "Oh, wait. Did you mention meeting a youth earlier?" Lan Sueruo recalled Yulong's handsome face and blushed slightly. "Well, yes." A knowing smile appeared on Lan Shiro's mature face as she teased her daughter, "Oh, my! My daughter is actually flushing red. This is the first time. Why don't you tell mother more about this youth?" Lan Sueruo buried her face with a napkin and told Lan Shiro about her encounter with Yu Long. As the story went by, Lan Shiro's impression of youth improved significantly. A boy around Sueruo's age wasn't affected by her beauty. Lan Shiro couldn't help but giggle. What an interesting fellow. But Yu Clan, hey. Do you know something, mother? Lan Sueruo noticed her mother's expression change. Lan Shiro nodded and replied, in the Blue Wind Empire, only one family with such a surname. Yu Clan, the most prominent business clan in the Blue North County. Their business's assets are inferior to Black Moon Merchant Guild only. They are that strong. Lan Sueruo covered her mouth in disbelief. Lan Shiro gazed at the rain and replied, indeed. We are fortunate that the Yu clan never flaunt their wealth, or else the power balance in the Blue Wind Empire has long changed. She sighed helplessly and resumed, the Blue Wind Imperial family's predecessor is lucky for making a sworn brother with the Heavenly Sword Villa's founder. We are protected, thanks to it. Maybe I should greet them once. Or things will become awkward later. From your encounter, the youth named Yu Long is probably the young master of the Yu clan. And he's here to spend time with his family. Silver Lake City is quite far from Blue North County, after all. Anyway. What do you think about the boy? Lan Shiro flashed a smile at Lan Sueruo. Lan Sueruo swayed her head, he's unique, I guess. Unique. You never described anyone like that before. Mother. Haha. As the mother and daughter bonded with laughter, they would have never thought the encounter with Yu Long would change their lives forever. Over 3 days, many surprising things happened. The Empress and the Princess of the Blue Wind Empire visited Yu Long's suite and greeted them, especially his father and mother. Of course, the shocks are mutual. Yu Zhan and Yu Xin didn't expect to meet with the rumored Blue Wind Empire's Empress here. In Silver Lake City, when they were on a family holiday. Above all else, Lan Shiro is such a good talker that she never outspoken and converses to know each other more relaxedly. She's polite but still shows the dignity of an empress. On the other hand, Lan Sueruo gets to know more about Yu Long as well. Still, Lan Sueruo was surprised when she found that Yu Long was 2 years younger than her. His tall body and toned build make him look like the youth of the same age as her. Then, Lan Sueruo discovered a girl named Xia Qingyu is overprotective of Yu Long. The latter would only respond when Yu Long was involved. The longest conversation Lan Sueruo had with Xia Qingyu was when they introduced themselves. It was a surreal experience for Lan Sueruo. Everyone is having a barbecue on the grass field behind the Silver Moon Hotel. High-quality meats roasted on the grill, making an inviting aroma hit their nostrils. Yu Long, Xia Qingyu, and Lan Sueruo stayed near a river. They competed to see who could skip a rock the most over this river. Xia Qingyu moved first and threw a pebble casually, creating a breeze as it skipped over the water several times. How did you do that? Lan Sueruo was speechless. Are you perhaps a profound practitioner? Yet. Xia Qingyu responded calmly. No way, you're younger than me. I thought you could only cultivate at the age of 14. Lan Sueruo doubted her knowledge. Yu Long chuckled and answered, in your everyday case, yes. People cultivate only when they reach 14 years old. And that's because their profound veins matured at 14. Some special cases allowed one's profound veins to mature earlier. Princess, your profound veins have matured, right? Can I check it? Faced with such a sudden question, Lan Sueruo was actually taken aback but still let Yu Long touch her hand. Lan Sueruo felt her heartbeat rising as Yu Long's warmth comforted her for some reason. You're quite talented. Yu Long praised modestly. 16 of your profound entrances are opened. You can train anytime you want. Really? Yes, but do you have profound art, though? Lan Sueruo peeked at her mother and brought out a book from her spatial ring. This is profound art passed down on the Blue Wind Imperial family. Only people with royal bloodline and pure hearts can cultivate it. It's called monarch heart search art. Have you tried practicing it? Yulong asked curiously. I did, but it was weird. Lan Sueruo replied softly. With the monarch heart secret art, one can peek into a person's fate and luck to a certain extent. And I never discovered anything special before. Try it. Xia Qingyu suddenly said. Try it now, and you'll get surprised. Okay. Lan Sueruo closed her eyes and chanted something. Her sparkling eyes gained a profound light as something unbelievable happened. Lan Sueruo blinked her eyes and saw overflowing fate and luck around Yulong. It was so great that she felt overwhelmed and drowned in it. Is everything okay there? The adults were alerted. But with some explanation, the adults finally calmed down. Lan Sueruo glanced at Yulong with a complex expression and asked her mother to talk alone on the side. What's the matter, Sueruo? Lan Shiro asked with a concerned expression. Mother, you know monarch heart search art, right? I do. And I warned you not to use it randomly. Lan Sueruo bit her lips and explained, when I used monarch heart search art earlier, I pry into Yulong's fate and luck. And Lan Shiro felt the suspense in her daughter's words. And it was overwhelming to the point my vision was literally drowned by it. Lan Sueruo finished her words, shocking Lan Shiro to her core. Fate and luck so great that you felt drowned by it. Miracle, this is a miracle. Sueruo, you have to choose Yulong as your champion. Lan Shiro firmly holds her daughter's hand. This is your only chance. Chapter 51 My champion. The barbecue event ended a while ago. Lan Shiro's words stuck in Lan Sueruo's mind, even until now. The young princess's thought process drifted throughout the night. She couldn't sleep at all. Lan Sueruo sighed and walked to Silver Lake near the hotel. She stared at the beautiful reflection of the moon on the pearly yet dark body of water. Monarch Heart Secret Art. It's a secret cultivation technique that the Blue Wind Imperial family salvaged to this very moment. There are so many misconceptions about this profound art. There is a reason why one must have a pure heart to cultivate this. After all, this is not a cultivation technique one uses to become strong. It is a cultivation technique to find the strong. In the past, the ancestor of the Blue Wind Imperial family discovered a profound art when adventuring the wilds. He was but an orphan in the vast world. The ancestor of the Blue Wind Imperial family trained hard every day but realized that the growth of Monarch Heart secret art was extremely difficult. That's until he met someone, a man from a distant land. The Monarch Heart secret art ultimately showed him a glimpse of chance. He successfully pried into the man's fate and luck. And he described it as a life-changing event. They quickly become sworn brothers as the ancestor of the Blue Wind Imperial family chose the man as his champion. Years passed, and the ancestor of the Blue Wind Imperial family linked his fate and luck with his sworn brother. He supported him with all he could. The man soon grew prominent and built Heavenly Sword Villa, one of the 4 great sects in the Blue Wind Empire. No, they are currently the strongest sect in the Blue Wind Empire. At the same time, the Blue Wind Imperial family was also founded in the same year, month, and even day as the Heavenly Sword Villa. Yes, they are like blood brothers at this point. That's why. In return, the Heavenly Sword Villa has always existed as the guardians of the Blue Wind Imperial family. And that's how the Blue Wind Imperial family has a firm connection with the Heavenly Sword Villa. Although the two factions have grown distant over time, their bonds never disappear. However, the agreement remains that the sect will protect against threats to the Imperial family. No one dared touch the Blue Wind Imperial family as long as the Heavenly Sword Villa existed. The Empire is declining. Mother's life. It wouldn't be very long before she... No, I don't want to imagine it. Lan Sueruo crouched on the ground and covered her face. She doesn't want to imagine the death of her mother. The thought of it alone was enough to make her shiver in misery. She sighed and gazed at the lake again. My champion. The monarch heart secret art described one's fate and luck like a domain and stars. The bigger the domain, the stronger their fate is. The more stars one has, the more blessed one is. The ancestor recorded that the heavenly sword villa's founder possessed fate like a massive lake 300 miles away and countless sharp-shaped stars. On the other hand, Yulong is like the universe itself. His existence is the center of the universe, with countless stars that I couldn't discern their shapes were. I could only vaguely sense their shapes. They are alive as if they have a beating heart. She lamented softly. No matter how Lan Sueruo felt, it was ridiculous. Her understanding of Yulong is very shallow. Well, they only met and got to know each other for 3 days. Thud. A sound of someone's footsteps appeared behind Lan Sueruo. The princess panicked and turned around, seeing a familiar-looking lady in a cozy blue dress. Xia Qingyu. She uttered her name in relief. Xia Qingyu looked for something and sat down on a clean rock beside Lan Sueruo. You look troubled, she said calmly. A wry smile appeared on Lan Sueruo as she responded, Am I? Xia Qingyu stared at her, Yes. Lan Sueruo squished her own face in shame. Well, I'm thinking about the future and afraid of it. My mother is doing well, you see. Interacting with others seemingly sucks her life force. I don't want to see her dying like this. I don't want her to die. I want her alive. So she can watch me grow into a calm noble woman like her. Or maybe attend my future wedding. She giggled in hopelessness. Xia Qingyu listened and said, She's a good mother. She is. Lan Sueruo flashed a smile toward the seemingly cold girl. After that, they stared at the lake silently. I don't hate you. Xia Qingyu suddenly commented. I thought you did. Lan Sueruo blinked her eyes in surprise. Xia Qingyu's cheeks flushed as she continued, Unlike others, your soul is pure. Someone with such a pure soul doesn't deserve to be hated. However, the world doesn't seem to like a pure-hearted person like you and me. Like you, I also suffered. My mother left me when I was 4. It was difficult. I wanted to find her, but I was ignorant of the world. Well, what can a child do? However, one day, I met a very special person. Yulong. Lan Sueruo guessed. Xia Qingyu let out a charming laugh, correct. He, who could melt my ice mask. Yulong. So, she could smile like that. Lan Sueruo was surprisingly amazed by the girl's beautiful laugh. It was like a fairy whispering to her ears, pleasant. The princess finally realized that Yulong meant more than anything to Xia Qingyu. Xia Qingyu released a sigh, Yulong is too outstanding. His soul is like no others. That's why he could attract so many unique people. He was a beacon of light for many people, including me. The charming girl pursed her lips and added, I'm acting possessive because I don't want him to get more burdened. You don't know, but countless lives depend on Yulong. This responsibility is heavier than anyone could bear. I'd be more than happy if I could lighten his burden slightly. Xia Qingyu closed her eyes. She patted her developing bosom and recalled how Yulong forged a bond with many people. His family. His subordinate. Even myself, a pitiful young lady from a backwater place. Xia Qingyu thought humbly. Lan Sueruo caught what Xia Qingyu meant and bitterly said, So you don't want me to get closer to Yulong because I'd be an additional burden for him? Pretty much. Xia Qingyu responded casually. Lan Sueruo. This girl is straightforward. Xia Qingyu did sugarcoat her intention, but still. It's not wrong. Xia Qingyu put on a defeated expression, however, I failed. Lan Sueruo was stunned. When you were using your cultivation technique, I also saw a glimpse of Yulong's fate and luck. No amount of possessiveness will stop you from getting close to Yulong. So my attempt is useless. Xia Qingyu shrugged helplessly. The strings have intertwined. Xia Qingyu stood up and commented, you must be thinking about something related to him. He's a person of many talents. He could create miracles by simply sitting in the corner of the room. My advice is just follow your heart. Or you'll regret it later. Lan Sueruo blinked once, and Xia Qingyu's figure disappeared from her vision. All that remains is her charming voice. Regret? Hey! Lan Sueruo hugged her knees and enjoyed the cold atmosphere at the end. After a while, Lan Sueruo stood up and returned to her room. Sueruo. Lan Shiro mumbled while still sleeping. Lan Sueruo sat on the edge of the bed and held her mother's hand. Yes, mother. You're a good child. My daughter is a good child. I'm relieved to raise such a good child. If only I could live a little longer. Lan Shiro whispered, a tear slowly dropping from her closed eyes. Lan Sueruo's eyes also moistened when hearing this. She wiped tears away and determinedly said, don't worry. I've decided. Even if I had to beg, even if I had to sell myself, I would get Yulong to be my champion. If what Xia Qingyu said is true, he might be able to create a miracle and cure mother. She covered her mother in a blanket and lay on the second bed. Tomorrow. I hope he accepts me. Chapter 52 The next day. Lan Sueruo stood in front of Yulong's room nervously. She looked around, thinking how suspicious she was to stand before a youth's room. Unknown to Lan Sueruo, Yulong's parents and grandparents have long noticed her presence. However, they smiled and let her off. They knew Lan Sueruo was a good girl. More so, what kind of harm could she do to Yulong? That monstrous descendant of theirs doesn't need protection. This is interesting. Uxin commented while sipping her morning tea. What do you think is gonna happen, husband? Yu Zhan put on a complicated expression, to be honest, I don't know. Our son is abnormal. Say that again, I dare you, I double dare you. Uxin narrowed her eyes at Yu Zhan. How could he call her handsome and talented son abnormal? You're courting death. Yu Zhan raised his arms in defeat. After starting her profound way, his wife becomes more domineering. At least they are equal on the bed. Fine, fine. Our son is unique. He fixed his words. To answer your question earlier, I could see Yulong poaching another girl to his side. You mean? Uxin's eyes twinkled. Yu Zhan smiled and didn't say anything further. Meanwhile, Su Sanchen and Su Nanan laughed joyfully at the sight of Lan Sueruo before their grandson's room. Ha ha ha, as expected of my grandson. The grandpa excitedly rubbed his hands like a shady businessman. Even if he doesn't want to admit it, the royal bloodline in his veins attracts someone of similar stature. The greatest prince of the Eternal Night royal family and the Blue Wind imperial family's princess. Su Nanan giggled in amusement. Although her cultivation base is lacking, understandable as she was 14, her character isn't bad. She is very humble and filial to her mother. That alone puts her higher than those spoiled brats have encountered. I've seen some young ladies sucking off their noble status to entice Yulong. Unfortunately for them, my grandson isn't blind. Haha, fuck those little lasses. Language. Su Sanchen was speechless. His wife is becoming more violent these days. Maybe because the peace granted by their grandson finally allowed them to relax after so many years. Su Nanan covered her mouth yet still grinning. It seems we don't have to worry about the Eternal Night royal family's bloodline anymore. We have another granddaughter-in-law in the bag. Weird things to say, isn't it? Su Sanchen teased her. Hee, not as weird as how you proposed to me. Su Nanan teased back. Different era, different result. Su Sanchen shook his head gently as it was a good old day of his youth. In this era, our grandson would stand at the top. Back to Lan Sueruo. As she was about to knock on the door, it opened abruptly. She was startled like a cat and hid behind a decorated plant. Hong Guan stared at the Blue Wind Empire's princess and commented casually, "Princess, why are you hiding there? You're looking down on me too much." A blush appeared on Lan Sueruo's cheeks as she realized her action was embarrassing. She might not know how powerful Hong Guan was, but from how the red-haired lady acted, such confidence only befitted Earth Profound Realm expert or above. Hiding from such an expert is useless. Lan Sueruo awkwardly stood up from the floor and bowed, "I'm sorry." "Well, that was unexpected," Hong Guan thought with her lips curved. She stared at Lan Sueruo with an observing gaze and said, "It's fine, princess. Young master is waiting for you inside. I assume you have a lot of things to say." "Yes." Lan Sueruo nodded with determination. Noticing the firm light in the princess's eyes, Hong Guan saw the reflection of her past self. Those eyes showed the sheer importance of this visit. "Let's go inside." "Tea then, pardon me." As they entered the room, Lan Sueruo noticed their hotel room was more extravagant than hers. She blinked her eyes in surprise, thinking how amazing Yu Clan was. Yu Long sat on the bed, cultivating art of violet mist and summer moon grand mist. His body emitted a powerful yet comfortable presence that calmed people around him. Not far away, Xia Qingyu is meditating on a sofa as well. She has several symbols around her body, shivering slightly every time she breathes. Lily was doing an errand, so she wasn't in the room. "I see. You've considered it well." Xia Qingyu opened her eyes. She gazed deep into Lan Sueruo's soul and discovered the princess's soul had become firmer. Thanks to you." Lan Sueruo responded calmly. The corner of Xia Qingyu's eyes twitched as she internally sighed. She didn't want this to happen, but whatever. The final person who had the power to decide was Yu Long at the end of the day. "Qingyu, Guan. Wait for me in the buffet lounge." Yu Long opened his mouth while still meditating. "Okay, I'll save some pudding for you." Xia Qingyu hopped from the sofa. "Also, Sister Guan, you can't eat spicy food in the morning. It's bad for your stomach." "Blame it on my constitution." Hong Guan rolled her eyes. "You said that every day." They left Lan Sueruo and Yu Long alone in the room. The clock on the wall is ticking. And Lan Sueruo's heart throbbed like no tomorrow. "Calm yourself down, princess. Or you will get a heart attack, haha." Yu Long finally opened his eyes, revealing two beautiful golden suns in those dark abyss. Lan Sueruo was captivated by Yu Long's eyes and faked a cough. "Ah, silly me. So, do you need something from me?" Yu Long joined his hands and placed his chin on them. "Can I sit down first?" Lan Sueruo responded softly. "Sure, go ahead." With a wave of his hand, the chair nearby flew and stopped near Lan Sueruo. She was once again surprised but suppressed it. She sat down and said, "Let me introduce myself again. My real name is Qingyu, and I'm the youngest princess of the Blue Wind Imperial family. I used Lan Sueruo as my name because Lan is my mother's surname and Sueruo is chosen by her. I want my mother to enjoy her last moment peacefully, but I can't bear to watch her wither like this. And I'm here to propose something." "Continue." Yu Long replied emotionlessly. Lan Sueruo nodded. "Yesterday, I demonstrated monarch heart secret art. I even startled everyone, which was quite embarrassing. However, there is a reason why the monarch heart secret art could only get cultivated by the Blue Wind Imperial family's members. Once we have a pure heart, we can pry into one's fate and luck. I saw yours, Yu Long." A curious expression on Yu Long's face as he questioned, "And how was it?" "Overwhelming. Your fate and luck are unlike any other." Lan Sueruo answered honestly. "I guess there are some details you haven't explained to me." Yu Long chuckled playfully. "Indeed." Lan Sueruo nodded while clenching her hands. "By cultivating monarch heart secret art, I could choose someone as my champion. By doing that, my fate and luck will be intertwined with yours. So you're basically depending on my glory. Yu Long was actually amused by this profound art's prowess. The concepts of fate and luck are very abstract for Yu Long. He could understand elements, but these aspects he hadn't discovered yet. In short, yes. Lan Sueruo bit her lips. I know it was a shameless move, but I'm at your mercy. Well, she's straightforward. You haven't told me the truth, right? Yu Long casually pointed out. Lan Sueruo opened her mouth and bowed on the floor. Please. Please be my champion. I heard from Xia Qingyu that you could create a miracle. You can do anything to me afterward, but please heal my mother's illness first. I'm willing to do anything for you to accept me. Even if you ask me to sleep with you. Damn girl! Are you for real? Yu Long sighed inside, as expected of the cultivation world. Puberty hit differently in this world. Also, that Qingyu girl was selling me out. Yu Long smiled helplessly. Well, let's test her a little. He looked down at Lan Sueruo and smirked, really, anything? Why yes. Lan Sueruo whimpered. The clock is ticking once more, making the mood in the room stagnant. Lan Sueruo buried her forehead on the carpet and never showed a sign of getting up. She was very stubborn, especially when her mother's life came into question. Actually, Yu Long finally uttered something. Healing the Empress is a simple matter. But, since you would do anything, I have a good offer for you. Just tell me what it is, and I will do it. Lan Sueruo said without hesitation. Yu Long put on a sadistic look and indifferently responded, I want you to kill some orphans in Silver Lake City. They are quite annoying, you know. If possible, torture them for a little bit. I like them screaming like pigs. What? Lan Sueruo was shocked. Killing orphans. I can't do it. I thought you said anything earlier. Yu Long frowned slightly. Not very responsible for your words, et. Lan Sueruo trembled, I will do anything, but killing innocent lives is out of my bottom line. Even though I wanted to save my mother, she also taught me that lives are precious. She taught me to cherish it. She would wish nothing but to die faster if she knew I did such a thing, so no. Yu Long leaned on her ears and whispered as if he were the devil, she doesn't need to know. Your mother doesn't have to know. Her life is much more important than those street ruffians, right? Keep your mouth shut, and she'll live in ignorance until her long life dissipates. This world isn't suitable for the innocents. Power is all that matters. That is. Lan Sueruo's eyes gradually became red as she suddenly slapped herself on the face. It was a hard smack. Yu Long was taken aback. Lan Sueruo inhaled and shouted, I'll never kill innocent people. Even if your mother's life is at stake. I will save both. Pfft. Yu Long laughed and smacked the bed a few times. Ha ha ha. He poked Lan Sueruo's forehead and commented, how naive of you, princess. To save both, you need absolute strength. And you don't have such a privilege. But you pass. Hehe, my words earlier were a joke. I will become your champion. Before Yu Long could finish his words, Lan Sueruo's tears welled up due to intense emotion and she hugged Yu Long tightly. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Yu Long pushed Lan Sueruo after she calmed down and shook his head gently. I haven't finished my words. I will be your champion and heal your mother. And in return, you two will be my test subjects. Test subjects. Chapter 53 A week later. After becoming the champion of the Blue Wind Empire's princess, Yu Long's schedule doesn't change much. Every day, Yu Long would wake up in the Silver Moon Hotel's suite and relax while doing 1 or 2 casual experiments. He hasn't completed his research in a profound way yet. The same goes for bloodlines and profound aspects. When he discovered the variant bloodlines from his parents and grandparents, a new unorthodox field was opened for him. Who would have thought he would find another unorthodox field when scanning Lan Shiro's illness? The Blue Wind Empress, Lan Shiro, isn't a profound practitioner. All she had was pure heart and the benevolence of a queen. However, this is why she suffers so much. Lan Shiro possessed a rare body like Xia Qingyu's mother. Although it was ultimately weaker, it allowed Lan Sueruo to bore an innate ability. The rare body is called Demoness Sinful Body. And no, Yu Long didn't name it that way. He traced the origin of this rare body with the help of Kaiju Maker. Demoness Sinful Body is a rare body that only appears in females. It caused the possessor of this physique to absorb the sins of others. The more sin she absorbs, the more lifespans she loses. No wonder Lan Shiro was very tormented and sick when talking to someone. Imagine siphoning another's sin into your body. When the sin accumulates enough, the demoness sinful body will generate a powerful energy called pure force. And any descendant nourished with this energy will possess the heart of saint. How poetic yet ironic. She withstood 100,000 if not millions, of sins to birth a single saint's heart. She named her daughter Sueruo as a wish for her to stay as pure as white snow. It's not a coincidence. Fortunately, Lan Shiro met Yu Long at her very last moment. She might appear healthy, but her life force is like a dying spark of fire amidst sinful rainstorms. To solve her problem, Yu Long has 3 possible ways. First, create a light-based profound art that matches Demoness' sinful body and let Lan Shiro tame it herself. Second, forcibly strip Demoness' sinful body from her forever, but there is a huge chance that she could lose her memory and even her life. Lastly, modify Demoness' sinful body to Demoness' golden body with the help of Kaiju Maker and Uxion's variant blood. This method is the most extreme because Lan Shiro's body will forever change. Yes, with this method, Lan Shiro will become dependent on Uxion, possibly becoming her blood servant. It was normal for the devil's bloodline possessor. After some time, Lan Shiro decided to take the third method. She wasn't confident with her ability, so first method was a no. The second method is even more ridiculous. Even if Lan Shiro lived, her memory would be gone forever. The third method is the safest method despite the flaws. Turning Demoness' sinful body to Demoness' golden body took 2 days, but Lan Shiro was finally freed from her mysterious illness and curse. Right now, Lan Shiro is as healthy as ever and even begins her profound way. Even though she is only at the 5th level of elementary profound realm, it was good enough for her to do it in a week. The Demoness' golden body utilized the sin she absorbed throughout the week and turned it into demonic golden light, which nurtured her body and cultivation. There is no negative effect anymore. Well, she's happy to be alive. And that's all that matters. On the other hand, Lan Sueruo or Kang Yu was an interesting test subject. For the sake of the champion's contract, she assumed her identity as the Blue Wind Empire's princess, Kang Yu. But Yu Long still called her Sueruo because it sounded nice. Of course, in an endearing manner. The heart of saint is a special mind from pure heart, soul. It's like Xia Qingyu's heart of snow-glazed glass, but several times inferior. It allowed someone to generate light elements and train light-based profound arts without restriction. Above all else, Heart of Saint repelled any dark thoughts that plagued its owner. The conviction brought upon by Heart of Saint is strong enough to make one's talent soar gradually. The increase won't be apparent, but the possessor would be strong enough to become a king of low-star realm. Above all else, the Heart of Saint is tightly intertwined with the Monarch Heart secret art. The compatibility is over 1000%, which makes Kang Yu's ability to pry into one's fate and luck more efficient. Kang Yu also gained affinity toward minor fate aspect and minor luck aspect. The only weakness is that she couldn't maintain this ability for long. So, Yu Long modified Monarch Heart secret art to see if the effect became more pronounced. And the result is better than he expected. Kang Yu told him the new monarch heart secret art didn't burden her mentally like the previous version. By the way, Yu Long also added art of light, art of fire, and art of wind into the mix because the monarch heart secret art lacks offensive, defensive, and support moves. No way in hell Yu Long would let a personal oracle live without protection, no? Yes, you heard that right. As Kang Yu advanced further, she might become Yu Long's personal oracle. She couldn't see much, but it was better than nothing. Her bloodline is also quite intriguing. It's from the same type as the Yu clan, a primordial beast with a wind element. And the beast was roaring wolf condor. From the bloodline, one could comprehend orthodox, blue storm aspect, orthodox, transformation aspect, and unorthodox, moon swallowing aspect. Activating the bloodline also increased Kang Yu's talent, allowing her to reach peak elementary profound realm in a week. One might think it was too fast, but the deeper one's understanding, the faster one could cultivate. On the side of Silver Lake, Yu Long lazily lay on a hammock while Kang Yu fed him sliced fruits. The princess has a permanent smile after Yu Long cures her mother. Thank you is not enough to describe Kang Yu's gratitude. At first, Kang Yu was baffled by the term test subject Yu Long proposed a week ago. In reality, he only took a few drops of their blood and examined their condition occasionally. As he said, fixing their issues is a simple matter. Kang Yu truly admired Yu Long from the deepest part of her heart. And for a heart of saint's possessor, this statement isn't a simple matter. 100 meters away, Xia Qingyu and Hong Guan fought fiercely. Their cultivation base is actually sealed to the 10th level of the nascent profound realm. The young girl moved like a slithering snake and threw several symbols that made the air tremble violently. On the other hand, the red-haired lady used her excellent flame manipulation to defend herself. After several minutes, they ended up tied. Kang Yu watched over them and clapped her hand in amazement. Wow, they are so strong. When could I become like them? You will reach that realm eventually. Yu Long answered casually. Also, their cultivation base is sealed to make things fair. If this is a normal fight, Xia Qingyu would lose instantly. Senior Hong Guan, is that strong? Kang Yu blinked her eyes in surprise. Yu Long chuckled and returned, Hong Guan is one of the earliest people I nurtured. She couldn't possibly be an ordinary person. But Xia Qingyu is catching up at a fast pace. That girl is a monster talent. Big brother, I heard that. Xia Qingyu complained while waving her hand at him. She has a cute pout and puffed cheeks. Yu Long smiled and sensed two presences coming to his location. They are Lily and Ling Ke. Young master. Lily has a smile on her face. What's the matter? Yu Long asked while rolling on his hammock. Ling Ke giggled and stepped forward. Do you remember the spoiled brat I bullied last week? That guy, hey. Yu Long recalled Gui Hungui, or something makes a commotion outside the heavenly gourmet tower. Ling Ke nodded and added, he did his job perfectly and complained to his father. The bait has got eaten. A small elite army from the Sunflower Dew Empire is moving from the south border and advancing toward the Silver Lake City. They would arrive in 3 hours or so. Wait. Why did the Sunflower Dew Empire suddenly come to this conversation? Kang Yu was bewildered. Also, an army? They stepped into the Empire's territory with ill intention. Isn't this a declaration of war toward the Blue Wind Empire? Pfft! Ha ha ha! After hearing that, Lily laughed while slapping her knees. War? How funny! Ling Ke smirked at Kang Yu. Princess, it seems you haven't realized what kind of deal you made with our Lord Shadow. A war? No, this is a one-sided massacre. Not for us, but for them. Yu Long yawned, let's have lunch first. Lunch is more important than those imbeciles. Kang Yu. What should I eat? Yu Long said in deep thought. Steak sounds nice. Maybe a curry. Hello? An army will come here in 3 hours, but you still have the mood to have lunch. Soon, Kang Yu would discover that her champion was beyond her understanding. Chapter 54 Back to the Silver Moon Hotel. Yulong's parents, grandparents, and Lan Shiro are chatting with each other. However, when they learned that the Sunflower Dew Empire sent an army to Silver Lake City, the Blue Wind Empress was dumbfounded. The Sunflower Dew Empire sent an army to us. Lan Shiro blinked her eyes in disbelief. The 7 nations should have a peace treaty. Even if there was a conflict, it's not to the point of sending an army. Blue Wind Empire has been declining these years. The other nations didn't take us seriously anymore. Her expression darkened. As the Empress, Lan Shiro knows the politics in the profound Sky Continent. What if the conflict was related to the son of the Sunflower Dew Empire's monarch? Kang Yu stared at her mother. Gui Wanli's son. Lan Shiro frowned slightly. Can you tell me more about it? Ling Ke. Yulong glanced at the manager of this place and continued eating his lunch. Ling Ke nodded and stepped forward. Hello, Empress. I'll tell you the baseline of the story. Actually, around 10 days ago. Lan Shiro and Kang Yu listened attentively. They couldn't believe their ears for a moment because this woman actually threatened the son of the Sunflower Dew Empire's monarch. But she did have the power to back her action. This is tough. I can use my status as an empress to make them give us some face. Lan Shiro placed her hand on her chin and pondered something. Still, it won't guarantee peace between Silver Lake City and the army. Shiro, are you planning to lower your head for us? Su Nanan asked with a helpless expression. Kang Yu thought the same as her mother, but she recalled Yulong and others didn't show any panic. They are still enjoying their lunch as if the incoming army is nothing. Is there any other way? Lan Shiro returned solemnly. If my memory serves me right, the army sent by the Sunflower Dew Empire's monarch was most likely led by a tyrant profound realm expert. An overlord. Such a powerhouse, even the 4 great sect in the Blue Wind Empire couldn't fight them. Su Sanshin sighed while giving Lan Shiro a pitiful look. The fate of the weak. Whimper in fear, not even knowing its surroundings. Well, it can't be helped when the Blue Wind Empire is ignorant of the outside world. Empress. No, Lan Shiro. Let me give you a small piece of advice. Raise your head from now on. Because you are one of us. Su Sanshin said, releasing his cultivation base. Swoosh. Su Nanan, Yuzhan, and Uxin also released their cultivation base. The pressure swirled in the dining room and caused turbulence that shocked Kang Yu and Lan Shiro. Lan Shiro held her breath. She couldn't believe the terrifying pressure she felt at the moment. It felt like Lan Shiro was dreaming. But she knew very well this was reality. We are not your ordinary family, Empress. Watching Lan Shiro and Kang Yu's shocked expression, Uxin giggled while covering her mouth with her palm. And we never showed our cultivation base because it was too eye-catching. Yuzhan nodded and added, as long as we have Yulong, there is nothing we should be afraid of. An overlord? Tyrant profound realm expert? The 3 women standing beside him are overlords too, you know. They what? Lan Shiro and Kang Yu glanced at Yulong, who was savoring his steak. What? Yulong was about to eat his steak. Kang Yu's lips trembled as she realized that Hong Guan and Lily, who had been on her side all this time, were overlords. The manager. Ling Ke, the Silver Lake City's lord. Lan Shiro thought otherwise. Then, just how strong is Yulong? The mother and daughter glanced at each other in realization. They didn't realize just how mysterious Yulong was. He didn't just heal Lan Shiro's illness but even gave them a chance to become profound practitioners. What are you planning to do with them? As the Blue Wind Empress, Lan Shiro gained her composure quickly, unlike her daughter. Teach them a lesson? That sounds about right. Yulong answered nonchalantly. He smiled a little and added, "Do you want to watch? I'll prepare the front seat for you and Sister Sweruo." How confident! And the front seat? As if the incoming army is nothing to him. The more the mother and daughter thought about it, the more they were slowly caught in limbo. In the end, they agreed. After lunch, they went to the south gate of Silver Lake City and stood above the city wall. Ling Ke and Gyue are ordering some people, waiting for the Sunflower Dew Empire to come. Hehe, I thought you wouldn't come out. Ling Ke flashed a smile to the middle-aged dwarf. Gyue frowned and answered, I just want to see those idiots suffer. Sure, I believe in you, number 8. Ling Ke giggled and spread her senses. And done. The preparation is complete. Silver Lake City's array formation has been activated. No one could enter or leave for 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Gyue raised his eyebrows. As expected of Lord Shadow, he likes to play around with his food. Are you criticizing him? Ling Ke returned casually. No, I like him this way. Sending horror to an enemy is much better than defeating them instantly. Gyue shrugged and placed a cigar into his mouth. He snapped his finger and burned the cigar's tip. I wonder if he gonna enter the battlefield. Who knows? At the city wall, seats are actually prepared for Yulong and his companions. They even have a bucket of popcorn and soda each. Xia Qingyu sipped the cola, and her eyes lit up. Fascinating, this cold beverage is popping in my mouth. It is also sweet and refreshing. We have been in Silver Lake City for over a week, but I didn't know this existed. You can only drink this on special occasions. Yulong answered with a teasing smile. Or else you'll get addicted. Xia Qingyu pouted slightly. Everyone also gets the taste of popcorn and soda. They are amazed. Salty and sweet, such a good combination. Uxin commented in delight. Look, they are here. Su Sanshin warned them. From several miles away, a cloud of dust is approaching Silver Lake City. A cavalry of thousands is bravely led by 3 Sky Profound Realm experts and 1 Tyrant Profound Realm expert. The leader is a middle-aged man in green armor, flying at a rapid pace. He has long white hair and a goatee. As they reached the last kilometer, the leader opened his mouth and shouted, Silver Lake City's lord, come and repent for you sin. That's General G. Lan Shiro recognized the middle-aged man in the green man. He's one of the Sunflower Dew Empire's generals and is over 900 years old, I believe. Second level of the Tyrant Profound Realm. Su Sanshin commented in disappointment. Ling Ke, go on. Yulong lazily said. Ling Ke glanced at Yulong and nodded, floating to the sky gently. She stared at the middle-aged man in green armor and responded sarcastically, Geez, you're too loud. First, you're coming uninvited and acting obnoxiously. General G seethed in anger, Silver Lake City's lord. You have crippled 4 royal guards, 6 great noble heir, and the prince of the Sunflower Dew Empire. How do you plead? The crimes you committed are beyond pardon. Just admit your guilt and accept your punishment. Ling Ke smiled and shrugged, crimes? Guilt? Punishment? Why don't you come and get me to repent then? I'd like to see the power of the Sunflower Dew Empire's general. Arrogant. How arrogant? The soldiers below shouted at her. General G growled and released immense pressure, shaking the atmosphere slightly. Even if I have to make you lose some limbs, I'll bring you down with me to the Empire. Soldier, attack! Destroy Silver Lake City! Swoosh! Ling Ke watched General G coming for her. He has a feral look on his face, probably wishing nothing but to rip her apart. How ridiculous! Ling Ke shook her head gently. As Lord Shadow said, this world is grey. There is no white or black. History is written by the victors. Die! General G sent a palm attack, causing a flower-like energy blast to fly away. 17th Layered Array Formation. Ling Ke hovered calmly, not moving even an inch. Activate. Chapter 55 17th Layered Array Formation. Activate. Ling Ke's voice echoed on the battlefield. As the attack unleashed by General Ji was about to reach her, an invisible barrier stopped and dispersed it into fireworks. Hexagonal patterns appeared all over the sky, surrounding Silver Lake City and the 1-mile radius around it. Let's see. Ling Ke's eyes turned red, giving off a devilish feeling. First layer, profound vibration. Ding! The surrounding area suddenly vibrated. The profound strength in the atmosphere experienced the same thing, causing everyone not to be able to use their heart-accumulated energy. Of course, Ling Ke and everyone on Yulong's side could still use their profound strength. General Ji's eyes widened as he fell from the sky. The profound floating technique. Boom! General Ji crashed to the ground with a boom and released a painful groan as his body became weaker than it should have been. He crawled from the crater and stared at Ling Ke. What have you done to me? What do you mean? Ling Ke curved her lips, smiling at the foolish general. I've never touched you before. Remember, you guys are the ones who come to my city. I didn't invite you guys here. You bring yourself. You bitch, what kind of witchcraft is this? General Ji brought out a bow and arrows, aiming it at Ling Ke. He shot the arrow, but it crashed into the invisible barrier around Ling Ke's body. Ling Ke looked down at General Ji. I have to say, you're a brainless general. The first rule you must do when attacking your enemy is to know them. Their power and weakness. However, it seems your crybaby spoiled prince is so important that he lowered everyone's IQ in the Sunflower Dew Empire. Ah, little brat cries and complains at his parents. It's always the most irresponsible ones who never taught their kids common sense. Ling Ke mocked without holding back. Sending an army just because some trash was crippled. You should thank me for cleaning this world instead. How dare you mock the Emperor and Empress? General Ji becomes angrier as he pulls out a jade bottle and eats some pills. Yulong raised his eyebrow because he sensed General Ji's sensitivity to profound strength increased by a leap. It allowed the green-armored fellow to regain his strength. Interesting. Bam! General Ji kicked the ground and soared to Ling Ke. His armor released a clanging noise. Die! He pulled his fist and punched Ling Ke with everything he had. Elephant Galloping Fist. A faint image of an elephant appeared and galloped toward Ling Ke's barrier, but she didn't react strangely. Second layer, kinetic energy and shock absorption. Boom! The hexagonal barrier wobbled a few times yet didn't break. Ling Ke casually placed her hand on General Ji's stomach and emotionlessly said, "Redirection." Crack! Everyone heard a bone-cracking noise. Arg! General Ji spewed a mouthful of blood and crashed to the ground again. The soldiers were baffled. What happened? Shouldn't this woman be the one who crashed to the ground and cried miserably? Why did their general fall instead? Something doesn't add up. On the city wall, even Yulong's family was dumbfounded. What's happened? Kang Yu was the one to ask first. Kinetic energy and shockwave absorption array. Yulong answered casually. Kinetic energy / shockwave. Kang Yu and Lan Shiro tilted their heads in confusion. Xia Qingyu pulled silver-framed glasses from her spatial ring and wore them. Let me explain this, big brother. Kinetic energy is the energy an object has because of its motion. An example of this is when one wants to throw a punch, one must apply force to move his arm, muscle, and even bones to accelerate his fist. On the other hand, shockwave is a strong pressure wave in any elastic medium such as air, water, or a solid substance. General Ji's punch forced the pressure in the air to change and cause a shockwave. If my guess is right, the array Big Brother talked about stores these effects and diverted them back to General Ji. Am I right? She gazed back at Yulong with puppy eyes, yearning for praise. Yu Long smiled and rubbed Xia Qingyu's head gently. Yes, you're right. Well, you're missing one point. The array also recycles General G's profound strength and generates more force on the rebound. The increase wasn't much, maybe twice or thrice of what General G unleashed. Poor guy, he doesn't know what's coming to him. How I didn't learn this from the science book you wrote, big brother? Xia Qingyu asked while enjoying her pat. Then, you must learn more about arrays. Yu Long chuckled. The law of science is useful but bendable in this world. Some topics are inherently better explained through personal understanding. Xia Qingyu nodded in understanding while others wondered in cluelessness. Even Hong Guan and Lily, who have been on Yu Long's side for the most prolonged, only know the base knowledge of it. They are better with cultivation and other stuff, but this otherworldly knowledge is just too much. It's not like they're dumb, but everyone has their own interpretation. The perspective of everyone is different. Back on the battlefield, General G stood up again. He looks horrible, with a pale face and falling hair. As if he just lost 5 years of his life. Ling Ke noticed this and commented, I see. So, this is the side effect of the pill you consumed earlier. To strengthen your sensitivity and power increase, you exhaust your physique and vitality. General G wiped blood from his mouth and shouted, Soldiers, enter the begonia formation. I shall end this witch's life with my strongest technique. The soldiers roared, Yes, General. Thousands of cavalry entered a formation and channeled their strengths into one point. A spear appeared in General G's hand, becoming brighter and brighter as the accumulated strength rapidly stored inside it. This energy also appears more unstable and vibrates so much than before, which cancels the first layer's effect. Heavenly spear that ends the night. Hear my call and strike my enemy. HAAA. General G rotated a few times and created a storm. He jumped and threw the spear at Ling Ke. A vortex surrounded the spear and rapidly moved to Ling Ke, aiming at her chest. Third layer, muddy world. Fourth layer, silk-like air. The spear's speed rapidly slowed down as if mud appeared around it. The vortex is also weakening rapidly. Ling Ke stretched her hand and placed a single hexagonal shield before her. The spear arrived and touched the shield. Ding! A loud bell noise reverberated, making one deaf upon hearing it. Crack! Yes! A small crack appeared on the shield. General G and the soldiers are excited. Ling Ke smirked and snapped her finger, causing the shield to release a green light and nullify the attack. All that was left was a black spear made of an unknown material. And no way! The soldiers felt chill down their spines. That's the strongest move that makes General G famous. Heavenly Knight Spear. Yet it doesn't even reach its target. Of course, the person who's shocked most was General G himself. My ultimate attack. No one in the Tyrant Profound Realm should be able to counter it unless... Monarch. General G spewed another mouthful of blood and shivered like a drenched dog. He kneeled on the ground, becoming a wrinkled mummy. G General. The soldiers were hysterical. Their general was unexpectedly reduced to such a state. The two Sky Profound Realm experts moved quickly and arrived on General G's side, checking his condition. This is bad. He's losing too much vitality. Don't tell me he ate life-ending pills. One of the experts carried the general on his back. Meanwhile, the other stared at Ling Ke in the sky and shouted at the cavalry, Retreat! Everyone, retreat! The battle ended in mere minutes. The Sunflower Dew Empire's cavalry army lost and decided to retreat. Too bad they can't simply run away. Their horses crashed into an invisible barrier. What is this? Barrier. He he he. Ling Ke's playful laughter brushed their ears. Do you think you can run that easily after marching to my city? Tisk, tisk. Come back here, little lambs. Let me hear your cries a little. A nightmare had just begun. Silver Lake City's wall. Well, that was anticlimactic. Yu Long commented while munching his popcorn. Everyone stared at him and then at the cavalry army far away. Sure, buddy. Let's forget the crazy shit that happened a few moments ago. Maybe for Yu Long, it was nothing special, but for King Yu and Lan Shiro especially, they would never forget this moment. He smiled and clapped his hand. Well, I hope you guys were enjoying the little show. Yu Long's parents and grandparents sighed. What show? Everything ended too quickly. Ignoring the look of disbelief on their face, Yu Long used sound transmission on Ling Ke and told her to proceed with the next step of their plan. Let's go back. Okay. As they returned to the Silver Moon Hotel, Yu Long stopped on the stairs and frowned slightly. I felt like I was forgetting something. He murmured while rubbing his forehead. The Scarlet Dragon. 100,000 miles away. Scarlet Dragon Mountain Range. Scarlet Dragon finally awakened from his deep slumber a week ago and noticed the unpleasant smell in his cave. At first, the profound beast didn't think much about it but soon realized his treasure was fake. The small pebble stopped releasing fiery energy and crumbled into dust. Roar! My treasure! Who stole my treasure? An angry roar shook the cave and the entire mountain range. The Scarlet Dragon raged, this smell, it must have something to do with this smell. Chapter 56 Silver Moon Hotel. Yu Long and Hong Guan sat on the balcony, staring at each other solemnly. Young master! You actually laid such a trap for the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress and didn't tell me. Hong Guan rubbed her fair forehead in disbelief. Yu Long raised his hand in defeat and replied, yes. At the time, I didn't think we would make so much progress on profound patterns, aspects, etc. In just 2 years, we have overgrown the Scarlet Dragon. My bad, I completely forgot about this matter. He sighed, giving off a weary look. Yu Long hadn't achieved much 2 years ago, and even the Shadow Realm under him just started growing. After stealing the evil god's fire seed from the Scarlet Dragon's lair, he placed a trap for the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress. It wouldn't destroy the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress 2 years ago, but now? The Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress was gradually weakened by Hong Guan. It's only a matter of time before the sect crumbles into ultimate misery. Hong Guan sighed, it's fine. I played with them long enough. It's just the right time to end this matter. You were doing this for my brother too, young master. Don't look so guilty. She reached and caressed Yu Long's face affectionately. Let's do this together now. At least, I want to watch those people suffer for the last time. Okay. Yu Long smiled at her. Xia Qingyu frowned at the two on the balcony and felt slightly jealous because Hong Guan could get quality time with Yu Long. Lily noticed Xia Qingyu's expression and commented, trust me, you don't want to disturb them right now. Why? Xia Qingyu responded with a huff. Well, no harm in telling you about this stuff. After pondering for a bit, Lily decided to tell Xia Qingyu about the incident 5 years ago. Xia Qingyu listened attentively, and her eyes widened in shock. Such a thing happened before. Lily nodded and added, yes. The bond between young master and Hong Guan forged deeper than you could imagine. Although their position is different, they still shared the same goal until now. And do not forget that Hong Guan and I have been on the young master's side the longest. Understood. Xia Qingyu glanced at Hong Guan and thought the red-haired lady was suffering more than her. At the very least, Xia Qingyu only lost her mother and still has family members left. Hong Guan doesn't. She lost her one and only family member. Lily shook her head gently at the young girl's reaction. Like the young master, she acts more adult than kids her age. Qingyu, Lily. Hong Guan and I will be out for a while. Yu Long notified them while wearing a robe. Be safe outside. Xia Qingyu waved her hand at him. We will wait, Lily added calmly. Hehe, we will be back in a few hours, if not the night. Yu Long smiled at them. After that, Yu Long and Hong Guan disappeared in a flash. Lily couldn't sense their presence in a 3-mile radius. Did they teleport? That's new. Lily thought for a second. Xia Qingyu stared into the distance and sighed, Lily, let's go to the food court and grab an ice cream. Ice cream? Sure. Lily agreed immediately. Scarlet Dragon Mountain Range. Using Mach 20 speed, Yu Long and Hong Guan arrived at the mountain range. They could see the trace left behind by the Scarlet Dragon, demolishing around the area with its might. Some areas literally burned to ashes. This energy. The Scarlet Dragon is close to the Emperor Profound Realm. Hong Guan wondered in surprise, picking up the scarlet flame left behind on the ground. Since Hong Guan's bloodline derived from the Scarlet Dragons, she could sense their closeness. Oh. And the dragon is angry. Yu Long added with a nod. What have you done exactly, young master? Yu Long shrugged lightly, just a small prank. I sprinkled gunpowder all over its lair and stole its treasure. Of course, all those gunpowders are special because only Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress makes them. Hong Guan doesn't know whether she should laugh or cry. The trace is fresh. The dragon shouldn't have left for long. Yu Long commented casually. Since its destination is Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress, we can calculate its arrival. He used thought acceleration and continued, the Scarlet Dragon would arrive in an hour or less. That fast? Hong Guan couldn't help but blink her eyes in awe. We are talking about a dragon with true dragon's bloodline here, Hong Guan. Of course, the profound beast is faster than your typical ones. That's true. Not to mention, its dragon physique is exceeding other species. Humans are only good because we can cultivate and have tenacity to survive. Oh, we are also wicked. Anyway, let's follow the trail. I don't want other factions to notice the lizard's messy trail. Yu Long grabbed Hong Guan by the waist and caused her to yelp in surprise. Boom! A sonic boom echoed in the atmosphere as a black shadow fleeted toward the horizon. Several circles could be seen in the sky and gradually disappear. Yu Long and Hong Guan floated in the sky, watching a massive scarlet dragon flap its wings. The profound beast is so big that their vision is funnily filled with it alone. Roar! The scarlet dragon roared as it saw a fortress surrounded by black terracotta walls. Humans! Return my treasure! The angered, deep male voice escaped the profound beast's mouth. It's a male. Hong Guan nodded in realization. There is also a hint of disappointment in her voice. Are you disappointed? Yu Long teased her. I bet you want to tame the dragon earlier. I did. Not so much now. Hong Guan pouted slightly. Several figures appeared from the fortress. They are the elders and fortress masters of the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress. The Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress has 2 fortress masters because it has 2 divisions. This matter is unknown to the public because only Fortress Master Mu Tianbei has ever shown himself. Mu Tianbei is a man with a boorish appearance. He has long black hair and a small mustache. He wore a thin-looking but hidden weapon-covered blue robe. How did Yu Long know this? Remember the elder Mu Lei? That man possesses enough information for Yu Long to know everything about the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress. Oh, Scarlet Dragon! The fortress master Mu Tianbei greeted the strong beast. May I know what's the reason for your visit? Grr! The Scarlet Dragon growled, don't play dumb, humans. I know you guys were the ones who stole my treasure. Pardon? Treasure? Mu Tianbei's expression darkened. We have never stolen your treasure. No, we never even had a conflict with you before. I say don't play dumb, humans. I smelled the unpleasant powdery smells from you guys. The Scarlet Dragon lashed out. It's the same smell that infests my lair. Powdery smells. Everyone from the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress realized they were getting framed by someone else. However, how could that happen? The gunpowders their sect used are specially made. Only a handful of people could make them. The only person with such authority gone out in the last 2 years is their treasury elder, Mu Lei. Shit! Mu Tianbei and others cursed between their breaths. They have been tricked, backstabbed, and ultimately bamboozled. The sect's condition isn't good at the moment. Not only did they not recruit more disciples, but their resources have also gotten limited in the past 2 years. Return my treasure or die. The scarlet dragon's mouth spewed a spark of scarlet flame. The expression of the elders paled because they realized this spirit beast is probably Emperor Profound Beast. Unless they used their strongest hidden weapon, they probably couldn't defeat it. Mu Tianbei glanced at his sworn brother Mu Konglei and communicated through sound transmission, "You know what to do. We will buy time. Be safe." Mu Konglei nodded and slowly retreated. Mu Tianbei faked a cough, "Ahem, Scarlet Dragon. About your treasure, we only heard of it now. But we might know who stole it. Can you give us a few moments to catch the thief and hand it to you?" The Scarlet Dragon snorted coldly and returned, "Humph, make it quick." Yulong's golden eyes gleamed in wickedness at this scenario. He, dumb suicide bomber. He laughed inside and prepared a containment array. Hongguan focused on Mu Konglei as she commented, "That man is the master of the man who killed my brother." "Oh." Yulong chuckled. "It's good then. Do you want to see fireworks, Hongguan?" "Fireworks?" Hongguan watched Yulong's eyes burn with brutality. She grinned and replied, "Surprise me, young master." Mu Konglei arrived after 1 hour and brought a black cage surrounded by black fabric. "Scarlet Dragon. I've brought the thief. Why did you cover the cage?" The Scarlet Dragon suspiciously gazed at him. Mu Konglei calmed himself and answered naturally, "It's because the thief was actually beaten by me. I was venting my anger, so his appearance is not appealing. Bring him to me." The Scarlet Dragon huffed. Mu Konglei slowly floated to the Scarlet Dragon, pushing the black cage to the profound beast. An invisible profound strength string was suddenly pulled. "Ha ha ha, die! Take our greatest black sun!" A grey-colored light escaped the black cage as the Scarlet Dragon's eyes widened in disbelief. Yulong snapped his finger, "Not so easy." A barrier made of translucent filament appeared around the black cage and Mu Konglei, shocking everyone. "Nu!" Everyone from the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress screamed at the top of their lungs. Even if they want to prevent this, it was too late. Swoosh! Boom! A bright white light escaped the small gaps in the barrier, and red mist spewed everywhere, painting the sky with a flurry of flower-shaped patterns. The gory sight makes everyone's stomach turn upside down. Despair. This one emotion struck the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress. Chapter 57 The horror descended upon the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress. Not only did they lose one of their fortress masters in a gruesome blast, but they also missed their best chance to eliminate the threat. The red-scaled behemoth over 100 feet long before them is ready to strike anytime. Its muscular and fiery body that could melt red-hot steel exudes intense power, making everyone in the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress breathe heavier in fear. Kurr! Roar! The Scarlet Dragon roared. "What's the meaning of this, humans?" Gulp! Mu Tianbei swallowed nervously. Cold sweats are running all over his body. It's over. The Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress is over. They couldn't possibly fight this Scarlet Dragon. Although the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress can be considered the best sect under the four great sect of Blue Wind Empire, they are not profound practitioners entirely. They focused too much on making explosive and hidden weapons. Even their Heavenly Spears division isn't the pure spearmanship path that everyone expected. Many people praised their sect for its status. Still, they are just a group of serial bombers. Dark Sun, their greatest creation over hundreds of years, was skillfully made with specific materials and could kill Sky Profound Realm expert and injure even the Emperor Profound Realm. Yet it failed at the most crucial moment. Why, Your Majesty? Mu Tianbi trembled slightly. That man was our sex traitor. We don't know he'd do such a thing to you. His tone is full of contempt toward his now died sworn brother. Please spare us. The elders caught what their leader meant and also buttered the Scarlet Dragon. Yes, Your Majesty. That man before was a coward. His action is truly disgusting. How could he sneak attack you? Pui, he deserves to die. Someone even spat in disdain. Please spare us. Be magnanimous, Your Majesty. Above the clouds, Hong Guan stared at this sight with a mockery in the corner of her mouth. A group of animals. She said coldly. They don't deserve to live this long. I should have killed them months ago. At this moment, even a sliver chance of survival causes them to act like this. Yu Long commented casually. They didn't honor their dead comrade as they cherished their lives more. Normal things, especially in this petty world. Didn't we just see an army sent to our front door because of someone of higher status? These people are the consequence afterward. Whimpering like pigs, hoping not to get slaughtered. Bully the weak, and fear the strong. The table turned around when one variable showed up. Hong Guan digested Yu Long's words and nodded in agreement. She also has seen family members betraying each other to get rich. Deception. Betrayal. Sacrifice. Corruption. As long as you come victorious, that's all that matters. Let's go. It's time to reveal ourselves. Yu Long offered his right hand to the red-haired lady. Hong Guan stared at his hand and smiled, accepting the invitation. Amidst the endless begging of the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress's elders and fortress master, two people descend from the sky and look at them indifferently. Who are you? The Scarlet Dragon felt intense pressure upon sensing Yu Long and Hong Guan. His true dragon's bloodline trembled. The people of the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress are also shocked. They could feel that Yu Long and Hong Guan aren't ordinary people. They aren't old and could fly like the elders and fortress master, meaning they are Sky Profound Realm or above. And one thought surfaced in their minds. Great experts, please save us. Great experts, please save us from this evil dragon. He killed humans and wants to devour us. Ha ha, ha ha ha. Yu Long laughed at their sudden change of face. Those hopeful looks sickened him more than anything. Hong Guan, do you hear that? They want us to save them. More so for Hong Guan. Hong Guan's green eyes seethed in coldness. These shameless people dared ask for help when they weren't even on her good side. She was on the verge of dropping a great fireball at their faces. Still, she didn't want to end this quickly. A smile appeared on her beautiful face and entranced them. You want help? Sure. Hand me 5 people from the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress. Mu Gei, Mu Hai, Mu Shi, Mu Qin, and lastly, Mu Bai Bei. After hearing the names, everyone was confused. They wondered how Hong Guan knew these names but followed her request. Soon, 5 people were brought over and kneeled on the ground. 2 women and 3 men. They are 5 people who ran away from Earth Profound Beast 5 years ago and the preparator of Hong Wuji's death. Out of the 5, Hong Guan hated Mu Bai Bei the most because he was the one who disabled her brother's tendon, so he couldn't run away and become bait for a profound beast. Ji Goddess, please forgive us. If we have done something wrong in the past, please be kind and forgive this once. Give us a second chance. We are wrong, we are wrong. You can do anything, but please don't kill us. Heek, heek. I don't want to die young. I haven't married yet. Spare us. 5 of them are pleading. Hong Guan descended slowly and landed on the ground near them. She emotionlessly stared at the 5 people and said, 5 years ago. Oh, no. Everyone from the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress doesn't feel good about this. A hunter went to the drifting cloud mountain range. She continued without paying attention to everyone. He was a skilled hunter and always careful of his pathing. Nevertheless, who would have thought despicable garbage to bring him down into unwanted death? He crawled out of the mountain range, even with bleeding legs. At his very last moment, he couldn't even meet his sister. The 5 kneeling people paled immediately. A memory buried at the back of their head resurfaced. They visited the drifting cloud mountain range 5 years ago and encountered the Mountain King. They thought the hidden weapon they brought was invisible but soon learned the harsh truth. The profound beast is way stronger than them. Left with no choice, they ran away. And the Mountain King is too fast, catching them tirelessly even with a wounded body. Fortunately, they met a random peasant in the forest and used him to distract the Mountain King. It was like fate giving them a chance to survive. But no. It's not a chance but a curse. And it's going to bite them right at this very moment. Karma served them right. The hunter was my brother. Hong Guan's tears slowly dropped. Mu Tianbei cursed in his head, fucking bastards. Why are you guys dragging us more? None of them could deny Hong Guan's story. If they could, she wouldn't be here. Hong Guan stood before Mu Baibei. Mu Baibei, do you feel guilty of killing my brother? 5 years. I waited 5 years. I hope you enjoy those 5 years because I'd give you 50 years worth of torture right fucking now. NOOO. Mu Baibei wanted to run away. Unfortunately, Hong Guan controlled everything within 100 meters radius as an ethereal dragon covered by black-green scales appeared. Boom! The sky shook violently. Typhoons appeared one after another, grinding Mu Baibei rapidly. This is just the beginning. Hong Guan's voice got laced with poison. Unorthodox, yin poison dragon aspect. Art of illusion, temporal blood field. Mu Baibei's consciousness was abruptly dragged to an illusion as he discovered himself tied to a cross in an unknown world. He gagged on something, and it was a spit and blood. Hu. Huuu. He panicked and saw Hong Guan appear out of thin air. Hong Guan gazed at him and said, "This is for my brother. You caused over 215 cuts all over his body. I'll multiply that by 5 million and make you suffer. And don't worry, you won't die until I let you to." Mu Baibei wished he wasn't so arrogant and despicable. But what could he do? It is his karma. The pain he experienced is like no other. He couldn't even scream anymore. It was just too much. After a while, Mu Baibei woke up in the same situation. Hu. Is it over? Can I die now? Ha ha ha. Hong Guan's hearty laugh echoed. What do you mean, not even 5 seconds pass? 5 seconds. Mu Baibei's eyes dilated. No. That can't be. Kill me. Kill me right now. Stop this. Let me die. Soon, 50 years passed in the illusion, yet only a blink of an eye passed in the real world. And this, and this, and this, and this. In the real world, Mu Baibei's bloody body entered a praying position as he smacked his head against a boulder. He kept doing so until his head split apart. Next. Hong Guan turned around to her next target. Nuuu. Everyone witnessed the 5 people Hong Guan picked experience weird death. They are entering a praying position before ending their lives through a blood-curdling method of suicide. After the last person killed herself, silence ensued in the area. No one said everything. They didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Hong Guan kowtowed respectfully toward heaven and earth, staring into the distance. May you rest in peace, older brother. I've avenged you. Wiping her tears, Hong Guan glanced at the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress and the Scarlet Dragon. Leave them alone. Your treasure isn't with them. Hong Guan said while floating to Yulong's side. Follow me, and I'll give you the answer. Oh okay. The Scarlet Dragon answered fearfully. His sense is much stronger than these puny humans. This red-haired woman is not something he could mess with. Mu Tianbei and others sighed in relief. She kept her promise. Oh, it's my turn now. Yu Long stepped forward with a grin. Do you think everything is over so easily? No, no. Hong Guan didn't mention it, but her older brother is also my teacher. The only person I ever accepted as one. So, encore. Let's start the second round. He said indifferently. The rule is simple. Use everything you have to stop my attack. One chance, no repeat. And it starts now. Yu Long lifted his index finger, and a burning globe of orange flame appeared. The globe becomes bigger and hotter each second, making the heavenly spear Thunder Fire Fortress lose their fighting spirit. As Yu Long slowly floated to the sky, the globe now could cover the whole mountain. Cruel Sunday! His voice dropped alongside the fiery globe. Everyone's vision is thoroughly filled by the incoming rotating fire sphere, knowing this is their end. All they could do was pray before getting turned into ashes. Boom! The heavenly spear Thunder Fire Fortress evaporated. They are gone from this world entirely. One might think, what if innocent people exist in the heavenly spear Thunder Fire sect? Using the phoenix flame, the fiery globe only burns people with evil hearts and bad karma. So, the answer is no, there are none. If good people exist in the heavenly spear Thunder Fire Fortress, they are probably out and doing good things rather than staying in this corrupted place. Yu Long waved his hands, and countless essence spheres manifested one after another, spiraling to his palm. Heavenly spear Thunder Fire Fortress is no more. He said while storing the essence spheres in his inner world. I have decided from now on, Shadow Realm will start emerging to the surface and shock the world. Chapter 59, Unbendable Fate. The news about Heavenly Spear Thunder Fire Fortress's disappearance caused a stir in the Blue Wind Empire. Even the spy from neighboring nations couldn't help but suck cold breath upon witnessing the sheer ridiculousness of this news. Even though the Heavenly Spear Thunder Fire Fortress isn't the greatest sect in the Blue Wind Empire, its power is still within the top 5. The mountain where the Heavenly Spear Thunder Fire Fortress abruptly evaporates, as if nothing was there in the first place. Beside a charred ground, there are no other clues. After a few days, the Heavenly Spear Thunder Fire Fortress is finally declared destroyed. The reason is unknown. Maybe a conflict or revenge. As for the attacker, people don't dare to delve deeper into the abyss. Fear of the unknown because this was beyond their level. Only 4 great sacred ground could possibly find something about this matter, but they aren't free enough to do it. But people still speculate. Some guessed that over 10 Sky Profound Realm experts surrounded the Heavenly Spear Thunder Fire Fortress and launched a wide area attack. The other guessed 5 Throne-level experts do it. A bolder one guessed that an Overlord-level expert or Monarch-level expert came and decimated the mountain in 3 moves. Of course, people mocked this fellow for being out of touch. Well, they are wrong. The Heavenly Spear Thunder Fire Fortress is gone with just 1 attack. And the attacker was not even a Sky Profound Realm expert. 2 months and a half later. Blue North County's border, Golden Bell City. Golden Bell City is a middle-sized city within the Blue Wind Empire. It has no natural specialty, but a golden bell hangs on a stone tower nearby and becomes the symbol of this place. Although this place doesn't have a specialty, merchant caravans usually rest and restock their rations here. With a population of over 45,000 people and a refreshing atmosphere, this place is suitable for relaxing between trips. A black-haired youth is drinking a cold lemonade under a shady tree. His golden eyes gazed into the distance, seemingly observing the mystery of the universe. Ordinary people could only see blue sky and white clouds, but the youth could see much more. The outlines of the atmosphere and brighter world humans can only sense after reaching a certain stage of cultivation. Not far away from the youth, several women gathered under a tent and gossiped with each other. They are the youth's family and companion. What do you think? Yu Zhan sat down, asking his son. Yu Long sipped his drink and replied, nothing in particular. Maybe I didn't expect our family holiday to take almost 3 months. Haha, that's true. Yu Zhan chuckled because the ladies dragged them all over the Blue Wind Empire. They stayed in Silver Lake City for 1.5 months before visiting some unique places in the Blue Wind Empire. They have visited sea, mountain, and even snowy terrain. After a while, they finally decided to return home. Uxin, who hasn't explored much in her entire life, was pretty satisfied with their family holiday. Was it a bad thing, though? He glanced at his son. Yu Long scratched his neck and answered slowly, no, not really. I didn't dislike it. Yu Zhan smiled inside because his son finally acted a little more like kids his age. Having a genius son like Yu Long is an incredible experience, but Yu Zhan hopes he can cherish his youth more. There is a time when one wishes to experience youth and regrets wasting lives for mundane things. Well, what Yu Long achieved wasn't mundane at all. The Golden Bell City is going to be busy soon, he said while ruffling Yu Long's hair. At the time, we must continue our journey. Okay. Yu Long nodded in agreement. Yu Zhan lifted his hand and questioned teasingly, also. I noticed you're getting closer to Hongguan. Did something good happen? None of your business. Yu Long frowned immediately. Hee. Yu Zhan chuckled when receiving the cold response. He shook his head and walked away. Staring at Yu Zhan's back, Yu Long sighed inwardly and recalled when he destroyed the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress. Hongguan hugged him tightly and was so close to kissing him. It was probably due to a rush of emotion, but still. Hongguan almost took Yu Long's first time in this second life. Yu Long finished his lemonade and grumbled, what am I? A maiden? Get yourself together, Yu Long. Walking to the tent, Yu Long saw the Blue Wind Empire's Empress and Princess chatting with his grandmother. Yes, these two are following them on this family holiday. We are going to move in 15 minutes. He said calmly. Tell your driver to check the carriage you used. Noted. Kang Yu nodded, walking away immediately. How obedient. Su Nanan commented in amusement. Lan Shiro giggled and added, hee, of course. I guaranteed that she would be a good wife. The two women glanced at Yu Long, hinting at him about something. Yu Long knew what they were talking about and rolled his eyes. Women. He thought while ignoring them. Since the other ladies aren't in the tent, they are probably exploring Golden Bell City. Yu Long spread his senses and grasped everyone's location, but Xia Qingyu. At the same time, an intense vibration shook him. Boom! An explosion appeared in the northern part of the city. What was that? Su Nanan stood up. The same goes for Lan Shiro. The Empress gazed at the north gate and said, what happened there? I'll go and check. Yu Long vanished from the spot. He quickly arrived at the northern wall of the Golden Ball City and saw Xia Qingyu surrounded by a group of bandits. He was about to send a sound transmission when a chilling sensation spread over the gate. Ice is covering the ground and wall, freezing the bandits. A beauty in a blue and white robe descended from the sky and landed beside Xia Qingyu. The beauty has an exceptional snow-white complexion, red lips, and black hair. She has peerless elegance and pure holiness, like a fairy who had descended from the palace on the moon. Is this fate? Yu Long couldn't help but comment helplessly. Aren't they supposed to meet at the floating cloud city? Then, what the hell is one of the frozen cloud Asgard's fairies, Chu Yueli, doing here? Chu Yueli is Xia Qingyu's teacher in the original story. She was supposed to meet Xia Qingyu accidentally after wandering around the Blue Wind Empire. Fascinated by the girl's talent, Chu Yueli took her in as a disciple and brought her into the frozen cloud Asgard. Xia Qingyu, who pursued power and knowledge to find her mother, agreed and became Chu Yueli's disciple. Nevertheless, Yu Long has altered Xia Qingyu's destiny, and she wouldn't join that ridiculous sect. Humph, I won't let Xia Qingyu become an emotionless ice cube. Yu Long clenched his hand slightly. Meanwhile, Chu Yueli initiated the conversation with Xia Qingyu. Are you okay? Chu Yueli asked the charming-looking girl before her. Xia Qingyu blinked a few times and nodded calmly, I'm fine. Thank you for saving me, senior. Chu Yueli's help is actually unnecessary because these useless bandits won't pose a threat to Xia Qingyu, but the latter still shows her gratitude. Chu Yueli smiled behind her veil, good. I can't withstand seeing such a young girl getting bullied by these bandits. Let me check if you're really okay. She added while extending her slender hand. Pa! Xia Qingyu instinctively slapped Chu Yueli's hand, which shocked the frozen cloud Asgard's fairy. Chu Yueli felt slightly numb in her hand. Xia Qingyu sighed and stated, I'm sorry, but I can't let strangers touch me. But I saved you. Chu Yueli has never encountered something like this before. Shouldn't this girl feel grateful? Why did she act like this all of a sudden? Xia Qingyu shook her head gently, Senior might save me, but that doesn't mean you're a good person. Oh, you're saying I'm a bad person now? Chu Yueli's mouth twitched in disbelief. Yes. I was taught not to trust others easily. Xia Qingyu flatly said as a matter of fact. This world is vast, so who knows what kind of dangerous people live inside it. Forget it, I don't mind. Just give me your hand for a few seconds. Chu Yueli sighed in dissatisfaction. I'm afraid. That's not possible. Xia Qingyu stepped back a few times. Chu Yueli. This girl. Just how cautious you can be. You heard that right, Ice Lady. Someone suddenly shouted from afar. A purple flash landed between Xia Qingyu and Chu Yueli. Xia Qingyu's expression brightened, and Chu Yueli's face darkened. And who might you be? Chu Yueli asked with a frown. A black-haired youth stood with a calm expression. Me. Yu Long smiled slightly. I'm her fiancé. Chapter 60, Chu Yueli, the Fairy of Frozen Glass. Frozen Cloud Asgard. A beauty is sitting in a lotus position. She wore a pure white robe with a blue sash. Her silky black hair flowed to her lap. A frown appeared on her beautiful face all of a sudden. And a pout followed by her red lips. Chu Yueli POV. Ha! No matter what I do, my cultivation doesn't show any sign of improving. I sighed helplessly at my cultivation speed. Unlike my sister, who was inherently favored by heaven and blessed with more profound entrances than others, I barely touched into the 4th level of the sky profound realm and couldn't reach it. Meanwhile, she was already at the 9th level of sky profound realm. Just 2 steps away from becoming a throne. People called us Chu Yu Ultimate Duo in the Blue Wind Empire, and that's the only resemblance we had. My sister is much more beautiful. She's wiser than me. Stronger than me. Have I ever felt jealous? Of course, who wouldn't be envious when someone is better than themselves? However, I'm also happy my sister could reach such a state. In this world, power is everything. I know this from a young age. When my sister and I got stranded due to bandits years ago, we were lucky to meet our master. Our master didn't just take us as her disciples but also adopted us as her daughters. She fed and raised us until this very moment. However, I knew the master favored my sister more. I'm good, but not good enough. Washing my face with cold water, the sudden thought of exploring the Blue Wind Empire flashed in my mind. It was somewhat weird because I liked to stay in the sect, but I didn't think much of it. That's right, maybe exploring the Blue Wind Empire would put my mind at ease and make my cultivation faster. I went to my master's room and saw her meditating on her throne. My master is a beautiful woman for her age. She looks only a few years older than us despite our 100-year gap. Her well-covered body exudes an icy sensation. The blue dress with dark blue lining and shawls makes her even more beautiful. The ice-like hair draped over her shoulders perfectly matched her dim yellow eyes. Yue. My master blinked in surprise. She smiled and asked, "What's the matter of this visit?" I bowed and respectfully answered, "Master, I wish to venture into the outside world for a few months. My cultivation hasn't shown any sign of improving for months, so maybe a change of surroundings will help me." I could notice my master's expression change slightly. She hates it when disciples go out of the sect aimlessly. I know this very well, but my decision is firm. After a while, my master sighed and said, "Very well, but you must bring a disciple of your own upon returning. If you can't, I'll forbid you from going out again. Yue, you're like a daughter to me. I want you to be safe. What's safer than staying in our frozen cloud Asgard? Yet you let my sister out any time she wants." I commented inwardly on my master's insincerity. But I couldn't utter these words. I respected my master, even though she acted like this. "This disciple understands," I replied while kowtowing once. "I'll bring a disciple once I return." "Good, tell other disciples not to disturb me for a few months. I'm going to enter a seclusion." My master let me go, but not before she ordered me. I slowly stood up and walked away, closing the ice door that separated my master and me. From now on, I'll be free for a while. At first, I roamed randomly and visited some small cities. However, I couldn't find something that aroused my interest. The only thing that's the same is men's lustful gazes toward me. My beauty is inferior to my sister, but I'm still one myself. It's normal for men to have an interest in my body. I am, after all, still called the fairy of the frozen glass for a reason. Even then, I hated them. Men are all the same. I couldn't kill those men, but lightly punishing them should be fine. So, they learned not to mess with others again. 3 weeks later, I arrived in a small city and heard the news about the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress's disappearance. The whole sect suddenly disappeared from the face of this planet. Shocked by this news, I decided to visit the mountain range once used by the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress and discovered a massive crater with charred ground. Chill was actually sent down my spine. I cultivated ice-based profound arts, but I could feel coldness overwhelming my senses. Impossible. That's what I thought. What kind of cultivation base should one have to achieve something like this? Heaven, there was nothing left here. Not even a remain. Thinking of a scenario where the frozen cloud Asgard experienced the same demise, I couldn't help but shiver. I should tell the sect after this. Patting my throbbing chest. Better be careful than sorry. I if only could have such a power. I glanced at the charred ground and inhaled a deep breath. Haha, what am I even kidding? But then I chuckled wryly. Shaking my fantasy off, I flew away. Change of plan. Following my instinct, I picked the opposite route I planned. After witnessing the state of Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress, I'd wander somewhere else. 1 month later, I arrived at Silver Lake City. This city is called an entertainment paradise. And it was indeed a paradise. I didn't know such a place could exist. Foods I have never tasted before. Clothes with a unique style yet still comfortable to wear. Even the air felt better in Silver Lake City. I felt ignorant for once. There are many wonderful things in this world, but I somehow choose to seclude myself in the extreme north where only profound beasts and my fellow disciple of frozen cloud Asgard live. In the future, maybe I should bring my sister and master to Silver Lake City. Although I said this sentence with confidence, my master probably won't pay much attention. As a frozen cloud Asgard's fairy, I know better that we are more like a group of monks. We couldn't and should never fall in love. And many other restrictions. Staying in Silver Lake City opened my eyes a little. After 1 week, I miraculously broke through. 4th level of Sky Profound Realm. I sat on my bed and laughed helplessly. Months after months, I tirelessly cultivated in the frozen cloud Asgard and didn't get any improvement. Yet, staying in this city for a week allowed me to break through. How laughable! My state of mind is much better here. I lay on the soft bed and let my head rest on the pillow. It felt much different from the ice bed the frozen cloud Asgard had. Unknowingly, I stayed in Silver Lake City for one more month. It was a wonderful experience. I enjoyed the scenery more and visited several cities in Blue North County. Unexpectedly, my taste buds that have gotten spoiled by Silver Lake City aren't disappointed. Every city in Blue North County somehow had this special charm. 1 month later, I arrived at the Golden Bell City. I sat on a tree and let out a sigh. I didn't realize how long times have passed. Months felt like days. And I still have to find a disciple, or my master won't allow me to get out anymore. As if heaven heard my pleas, I watched a group of bandits surrounding a charming-looking girl in a blue dress near the city wall. My eyes lit up. This girl is so beautiful. Not only that, but this girl possessed a mysterious aura that drew me in. She looks no older than 13 and is definitely qualified to enter the frozen cloud Asgard. Don't you dare lay your dirty hands on her! I said while waving my hands, sending freezing air to the ground. The bandits froze and became ice statues. Are you okay? I asked the girl in a blue dress. The girl answered me politely, I'm fine. She even bowed, thank you for saving me, senior. However, as we converse more, this girl is overly cautious. I wanted to check if her profound veins matured or not. Since she didn't let me touch her hand, I felt slightly frustrated. You heard that right, Ice Lady. Someone suddenly shouted from afar. A purple flash landed between me and the girl. And who might you be? I gazed at the black-haired youth. He looks handsome and dashing in his purple martial robe. Me. The youth smiled at me. I'm her fiancé. Unknown to myself, something beyond common sense would happen soon. Chapter 61, Not Cold Enough. Fiancé? This is... Chu Yueli didn't like this direction already. She wanted to take this girl as her disciple, but since she had a fiancé, the plan became nearly obsolete. Frozen Cloud Asgard only had female disciples as the female constitution leaned toward the yin element. This nature also makes one suitable for training. Frozen Cloud Asgard's profound art is called Frozen Cloud Arts. At the same time, there is a saying that love between males and females will obstruct Frozen Cloud Arts. So, female disciples must practice celibacy upon entering the Frozen Cloud Asgard. Of course, Chu Yueli didn't know the truth about her sex's profound art. Meanwhile, Xia Qingyu bloomed like a rose at its peak. She felt indescribable happiness when Yu Long introduced himself as her fiancé to defend against this shady woman. Big brother. She couldn't help but gaze at Yu Long with a loving gaze. Yu Long helplessly smiled when feeling Xia Qingyu's intense gaze at the back of his head. What he was saying is the truth. Although Yu Long and Xia Qingyu haven't formally engaged with each other, both families supported this already. Yu Long's family has accepted Xia Qingyu as their own, proven by how enthusiastic Uxin and Su Nanan were with her presence alone. Chu Yueli faked a cough and said, I see, that's rude of me. What about this? I will prove that I'm not a bad person. And how are you gonna do that? Yu Long returned immediately. This boy. Chu Yueli frowned because she didn't like how Yu Long spoke to her. However, she sighed in the end. My identity should be enough. Go on. Yu Long gave her a calm look. Chu Yueli stared at the youth's golden eyes and said with a commanding tone, My name is Chu Yueli. And I'm from the Frozen Cloud Asgard. A glimmer of blue divine light appeared around Chu Yueli, adding to her profound introduction. Xia Qingyu. Yu Long. What the hell? Her introduction has special effects. Is that supposed to be impressive? Xia Qingyu commented honestly. After living with Yu Long for 2 years, Xia Qingyu's sense of amazement became warped and very dull. Any sex lost their worth knowing her fiancé had superior cultivation techniques and resources. What other people have, and her fiancé doesn't. The line becomes obscure quickly when Xia Qingyu realizes Yu Long is the key to finding her mother. What do you mean by that? Chu Yueli narrowed her eyes at Xia Qingyu. Xia Qingyu giggled innocently, oops, nothing, senior. Please take it as a slip of the tongue. Chu Yueli blinked her eyes in disbelief. This girl is looking down on her. No doubt. Yu Long rubbed Xia Qingyu's head and scolded her half-assedly, stop that glib tongue of yours, Qingyu. You're making senior uncomfortable, you know. Haha, sorry, senior. My fiancé is always quick with her words. Xia Qingyu pout, I'm sorry. It's fine. I'll act as if nothing ever happened. Chu Yueli shook her gently as she didn't want to miss a disciple here. Yu Long smiled and introduced himself, well, it would be rude if I didn't introduce myself as well. There was nothing wrong with being wary earlier, no. My name is Yu Long. I don't have any particular background to disclose. And my fiancé's name is Xia Qingyu. Nice to meet you, Senior Yueli. Nice to meet you. Xia Qingyu followed shortly after. Xia Qingyu. What a good name. Chu Yueli nodded in satisfaction. She completely disregards Yu Long's name. She gazed deeply at Xia Qingyu and asked, do you want to be my disciple, Xia Qingyu? Pardon. Xia Qingyu frowned a little. Chu Yueli smiled behind her veil and continued, as I said, I want you to be my disciple. I can feel that frozen cloud Asgard and you have a strong affinity. Out of so many people, you stand out the most. I heard that the disciples of frozen cloud Asgard must disregard their love life. That includes devoting myself to celibacy and numbing my heart from the emotion of love. Xia Qingyu said solemnly. Is it true? Yes. Chu Yueli answered flatly. It's unfortunate, but you must separate yourself from your fiancé. By accepting me as your master, you're destined to live in a different world than him. Well, I already got attacked. Yu Long chuckled in amusement. He wasn't angry or annoyed because Xia Qingyu knew who to choose. Separate from Big Brother Yu Long. Xia Qingyu's pupils dilated as her whole body trembled slightly. Just the thought of it makes Xia Qingyu sick. Her red eyes reddened in horror. Her complexion becomes pale. Haha, senior. You're straight to the point, hey. Yu Long commented casually. I don't want to waste my time, that's it. Chu Yueli crossed her arms. She stared at Xia Qingyu again and added, if you want to, I can wait until you make up your mind. Remember, this is your only chance to enter Frozen Cloud Asgard. I don't wanna. Chu Yueli was astonished. Xia Qingyu glared at Chu Yueli hatefully and shouted, I don't wanna join your sect. You want to separate me from Big Brother Yu Long? I'd rather die than do so. Qingyu. Yu Long gave the girl a pat on the head. He felt touched by her words. Now he knew how important he was for her. He stretched his arm to shield Xia Qingyu and said, well, I'm happy that my fiancé has such a devotion toward me. You should go back, senior. No amount of words could convince Qingyu. Chu Yueli clenched her hand unconsciously. Goodbye. Yu Long and Xia Qingyu walked away from the ice field. Chu Yueli stared at their backs and said with a deep tone, yet the word stuck in her throat. Wei. If you can't get a disciple, I'll forbid you from going out forever. Her master's words echoed all of a sudden. Forever. Forever. Stop. However, Yu Long and Xia Qingyu don't seem to care. I said stop. Chu Yueli was panicking. The ice field around her spread rapidly and swarmed over the two. Although Chu Yueli didn't use her full strength, this ice-freezing wave was enough to injure an earth-profound realm expert. As the ice approached them, Xia Qingyu's eyes flashed with dark light as she poked the air with her tiny finger. This small gesture caused a palm-sized symbol with a quake character to appear out of thin air and shock the world. Crack! Bam! A shockwave generated from the quake symbol and nullified the ice-freezing wave. What's the meaning of this, senior? Xia Qingyu coldly questioned. Although she still called her respectfully, the question is full of killing intent. As expected, I didn't like her from the beginning. Xia Qingyu thought while preparing more symbols under her sleeve. Ocean quake art is very effective against this type of opponent, after all. Chu Yueli's hand trembled. Her eyes widened in shock. Did this girl nullify her ice wave? Chu Yueli couldn't believe her eyes, but this was the reality she lived on. I didn't use my full power, and the power of ice wasn't very concentrated, but Xia Qingyu nullified it with her weird technique. Chu Yueli grimaced slightly. In panic, she just attacked someone. Chu Yueli also realized that Xia Qingyu's profound energy is very stable, which means the girl has cultivated for quite a long time. What a monstrous talent! She looks no older than 13 and already possesses such a strength. Chu Yueli could come up and admit her wrongdoings. However, a desire deep inside told her to test Xia Qingyu more. It was a weird desire. Something that's not hers. Chu Yueli shook her head in confusion. I see. You're so talented, Qingyu. I offered you to be my disciple for the last time. No means no. Xia Qingyu responded indifferently. What a pity. Chu Yueli waved her hand, and an ice storm struck the area. Xia Qingyu poked her into the air a few times and released several symbols, shaking the air. Kaboom! Shockwaves swept the area. And snowflakes flew everywhere. Incredible! Chu Yueli stepped back due to excessive shockwaves. She was a sky-profound realm expert, but a girl 2 or 3 decades younger pushed her back. If Chu Yueli told this to others, she'd become a laughingstock. In the first place, why did she do this? She's a very calm-minded person usually. It's because you're inferior. Even a junior could push you like this. A voice whispered to her ears. I'm not inferior. Chu Yueli clenched her hand. Yes, your older sister is way better than you. The voice mocked again. And the only similarity you have with her is family name. Hee, you're nothing. No, I'm more than that. Chu Yueli released her cultivation base and caused the area to freeze rapidly. Over 100-meter radius of the area turned into an ice world. Yu Long observed Chu Yueli with his profound sense and Insect King's vision, finding her profound strength is very unstable. And as time passed, it rapidly reached a dangerous level. Qingyu, step back. He said calmly. Okay. Xia Qingyu nodded and retreated behind him. Yu Long closed his eyes and opened them again a second later. A profound, dark aura grew from his body, stretching over Chu Yueli's domain. He walked forward and approached Chu Yueli with a wry smile. Well, that escalated quickly. Chu Yueli attacked Yu Long with her ice, but it always melted upon reaching him. In just a few seconds, Yu Long arrived before Chu Yueli's eyes. Don't get closer! Chu Yueli shouted at him. The temperature dropped even more. Haha, you want to freeze me with this pitiful ice? Yu Long chuckled and commented, your ice is not cold enough. Swoosh! Darkness enveloped Chu Yueli's body and wrapped her like a cocoon. Before Chu Yueli lost her vision, Yu Long's calm voice reached her ears. My abyss is colder than your ice. After a while, Chu Yueli awakened from her slumber and found herself staring at the evening orange sky. She was bewildered, finding this situation weird. She wanted to move, but ropes were tying her on the spot. Wait, this is a carriage. Chu Yueli finally realized her condition. I was tied to a carriage. Inside the carriage, Yu Long's family enjoyed the chill temperature. Yu Long, this is much better than before. Uxin praised her son. I didn't feel much heat anymore. Right? He's so genius. Su Sanshan proudly said. The others also nodded in agreement. Haha, it's nothing. Yu Long chuckled humbly. I simply used a natural resource. I called this profound air conditioner. Chapter 62, A New Maid. Some carriages stopped by a river. Several people came out and freshened themselves, but one stayed and has never felt so frustrated. Chu Yueli has gotten tied to a carriage for days. Not only that, but others treated it like it was normal. No, even worse, they treated her like a cooler or air conditioner, which she never heard of. She, the fairy of frozen glass, couldn't do anything in this situation. Shame. Extreme shame. Yu Long landed on the carriage's ceiling and commented, well, senior. You look mad like usual. Humph. Chu Yueli swayed her head away. Women are so unreasonable. Yu Long sighed helplessly. First, you attacked us. And now this. You're only getting tied up for a few days. At most, you only get bruises, but your physique is that of a sky-profound realm, so it's not possible. I could have done worse. I could kill you. Chu Yueli's expression slowly changed because she knew her fate lay in Yu Long's hands. Like he said, she could have died anytime. It is mercy for him to tie her already. Yu Long sat beside her and added, also, thanks to me, your pent-up ice energy wouldn't spike your emotion anymore. Your frozen cloud Asgard sure had it wrong in many ways. First of all, training a cultivation art that froze one's heart from desires is a big no-no in cultivation. Desire is a good thing because it is the force that keeps you moving forward. A drive if I used my words. Yet you frozen cloud Asgard's disciples disregard this part and turn yourself into failure. What makes you different from an emotionless ice statue? Yu Long criticized Chu Yueli to the very core. Chu Yueli couldn't reply. She knew what Yu Long said was true. Frozen Heart Arts is a must-train profound art in the frozen cloud Asgard. Every disciple must reach a certain level, maintaining a calm and collected state where no desires would arouse them. Yes, they are no different than emotionless ice statues. However, Chu Yu couldn't accept her sect getting wronged. Her master is the palace master of the frozen cloud Asgard. As her disciple, she must keep upholding the sect's image. This is our sect rule. Outsider has no say on this matter. It doesn't matter, your head. I must say your sect's rule is stupid. Yu Long mocked indifferently. With this rule, has your sect created an overlord? Or maybe monarch? If not, then your rule is meaningless. Rule is placed to maintain something. Your sect maintains feudal ambition that has no issue prevailing in this era. A kid like me could defeat you. I wonder what will happen in the future. Haha, think about it, senior. Think about the real goal of your sect. He laughed and jumped away, leaving her alone. Chu Yueli muted herself, but she could hear some people commenting on her from afar. Is she still not listening? Someone asked Yu Long. Yet. It's not just her heart that likes ice, her brain too. The technique she trained must have lowered her IQ. Pfft, how could you say something like that? The others laughed, making Chu Yueli feel ridiculed. The journey continued, and Chu Yueli gradually saw the sun replaced by the white moon. Meaningless. Purpose. Why master and previous palace masters condone such rules? Chu Yueli closed her eyes and recalled her childhood memory. At the time, her master was still kind and paid attention to her. Remember, Yueshin, Yueli. The frozen cloud Asgard's founder created the sect to take ill-fated girls and make them stronger. She gave them a chance to survive in this cruel world. However, she also left behind wise words. In the future, our sect will experience calamity. so, I hope you can become pillars of frozen cloud Asgard at that time. Yes, master. The sisters replied with a determined expression. Nevertheless, Chu Yueli felt the sex goal become loose as time passed. She has read the sex history record and discovered the frozen cloud Asgard didn't follow the tradition of taking ill-fated girls anymore. They began to take girls with outstanding appearance and talents. Yet they haven't produced any overlord or monarch for years. How laughable! Chu Yueli heaved a sigh and mocked herself for being blind. She was too immersed in insecurity and focused on unimportant aspects of her life. If she could rewind time, she'd like to take different steps. The next day, Chu Yueli observed the sky and saw thunderclouds gathering. It's going to rain. She smiled helplessly. As if my life couldn't get even worse. Yu Long whistled and sat beside her again. This time, he has a bowl of noodles in his hand. Want some? He offered with a smile. No. Chu Yueli answered coldly. Receiving the response, Yu Long shrugged and started slurping his noodles. The fragrance aroma of the broth drifted from the wind, tickling Chu Yueli's nostrils. It smells good. Growls. Acknowledge. Both of them stopped awkwardly. Chu Yueli's cheeks flushed in redness. Her stomach just made an embarrassing noise. As a sky profound realm expert, Chu Yueli doesn't need to eat because the profound strength in the atmosphere is nourishment for her body. But remember, her taste buds were gradually spoiled after months of traveling. She doesn't want to admit it, but she likes tasty food, okay? Pfft. Yu Long covered his mouth. He faked a cough, ahem. Don't worry, senior. I will act as if nothing had happened earlier. Why you? Chu Yueli's face becomes even redder. If she isn't tightly tied by this weird rope like a prisoner, she will bury herself in a hole because of excessive embarrassment. Yu Long failed to contain his laughter and chuckled a little. He grinned and picked noodles with his chopsticks, placing them above Chu Yueli's mouth. Here, I made the noodles myself. He proudly said. Chu Yueli held her desire, but the noodles smelled too good to be ignored. In the end, she gave in. Chu Yueli pouted her mouth slightly and slurped the noodle. On. A moan escaped her mouth as the noodles themselves tasted godlike. It is chewy but not like rubber, with a hint of oil from leek and chicken meats. Yu Long. Damn, woman. I thought you were embarrassed earlier. Yu Long wondered if this was the food wars for a second. Well, he could only blame himself for having excellent cooking skills. God's tongue comes with pros and cons, after all. And yes, Chu Yueli blushed in embarrassment again. Do you want more? Yu Long asked her. Why yes, please. Conquering one's heart through the stomach, they say. Yu Long did it. The journey to the Yu clan continued. Along the journey, Chu Yueli becomes closer to Yu Long as he feeds her food in a mundane moment. They also talk more about their lives. Yu Long realized that Chu Yueli wasn't that indoctrinated by the frozen cloud Asgard due to her insecurity. Meanwhile, Chu Yueli discovered that Yu Long is much more mysterious than she presumably thought. The youngest young master of the Yu clan is talented in many aspects. She thought Xia Qingye was a monster. No, Yu Long was the real monster all along. She couldn't believe it at first, but from the very little Yu Long showed her, his prowess exceeded any geniuses. Those geniuses look like idiots compared to him. Chu Yueli thought her sister was one of the greatest talents in the Blue Wind Empire. Still, even she couldn't hold a candle against Yu Long. What's today's dish? Chu Yueli asked the golden-eyed youth nearby. Yu Long showed her a plate of roasted fish and replied, freshly caught salmon. I grilled it with some wild herbs. It's still hot, as you like. Thank you. Chu Yueli whispered as if she was a mosquito. It was small. But Yu Long heard it. Hee, can you repeat that? Yu Long teased her. Ah, my ears are itchy earlier, so I can't hear properly. Fine. Chu Yueli sighed in defeat. She knew she couldn't win against Yu Long. Thank you. I said thank you, okay. Yu Long picked the fish's meat with chopsticks and said, You're welcome, senior. Here, have a taste. Chu Yueli opened her mouth and relished the taste of Yu Long's cooking again. She was addicted. After a while, she finished the fish and said, It would be nice if you released me from this rope. I can eat by myself. Yu Long shook his head and returned, Unfortunately, I can't. You should have noticed it by now. The rope was purposely created with unique materials that absorbed one's profound strength. However, its function remains vague no matter how you try to sense it, no. It keeps puzzling me until now. Chu Yueli nodded. Then, I'll tell you the truth. Yu Long placed the plate away. This rope actually absorbs the yin energy generated by the frozen cloud arts you cultivated. And transfer it to me. Why you what? Chu Yueli was shocked. Yu Long smiled and snapped his finger, causing several snowflakes to appear. Chu Yueli's eyes widened in disbelief. How did you use frozen cloud arts? Yu Long made the snowflakes swirl gently, because your so-called frozen cloud arts is an incomplete technique. It's a defective cultivation art created for others without Ice Phoenix's bloodline could train it. By reducing the requirement, the profound arts contained a fatal weakness. It is a weakness that could destroy frozen cloud Asgard if the outside world knows. Tell me. Chu Yueli responded firmly. Are you sure? Tell me the weakness. Yu Long gazed into her eyes and said, Your sect was lying. What? Frozen cloud arts store ice energy into its practitioner's body. And the fatal weakness of this profound art is that any males who have a physical relationship with the practitioner will also inherit her cultivation alongside the energy she had painstakingly accumulated through vital yin. The saying that love between males and females will obstruct frozen cloud arts cultivation is false. It's a lie to keep you ignorant. But you still take innocent girls outside and bring them to your sect, allowing them to walk on a thin thread of ice. They are in danger if others know about this matter. Your sect will be hunted. You'll become no different than cultivation resources, a pitiful livestock for others. A chaotic end. And no way. Chu Yueli's world crumbled. Her breathing becomes heavier. Her body released cold sweat non-stop. Calm down, senior. Calm down. Yu Long pinched her cheeks. How could I calm down in this situation? Chu Yueli shouted back in anger. Tears are coming from her eyes. All this time, she believed the frozen cloud arts was the way. Her master taught how important the profound art was for the frozen cloud Asgard. Yet she never told her about this matter. Every disciple. Her sister. Everyone. Chu Yueli shivered and gazed at Yu Long hopefully. If you know this, then you should have a way to solve it, right? Please tell me you have the way. Please. Honestly, I have researched frozen cloud arts for over a year. Yu Long scratched his nose. I did discover the way to solve this problem. But it comes with a price. Price. I'll do anything. Chu Yueli was desperate. I'll do anything as long as you tell me the method. Yu Long shook his head helplessly and answered, Be my servant, or maybe maid. Not just you, but the entire frozen cloud Asgard. So, I could protect you guys under my jurisdiction. After that, I will also alter your body and frozen cloud arts to be more suitable with each other. This is difficult. Chu Yueli has a complicated expression. The decision is yours. Yu Long shrugged casually. By the way, you will be the first test subject in this matter. Chu Yueli bit her red lips and answered, Then, I will be your maid from now on. I'll devote my mind, body and soul to you. Please accept me, young master. That was easy. Yu Long hides a grin with his palm. Very well, Yueli. I hope you follow me wholeheartedly from now on. Yes. Chu Yueli answered with unyielding determination. Chapter 63, The Family Holiday is Over. Drifting River City, Yu Clan. Phew, we finally arrived at home. Uxin let out a satisfied yawn. After traveling for roughly 3 months, she was happy spending quality time with her family. They have visited countless cities and enjoyed many natural places of tourism. In the past, Uxin couldn't even dream of stepping outside the drifting river city. She felt thankful to her son for creating the artifacts so she could move freely without exposing herself to the 4 great sacred lands. But still, the possible daughter-in-law increased by 2 in just a few months. Uxin glanced at Kang Yu and Chu Yueli. Uxin doesn't know whether she should cry or laugh at her son's greatness. Of course, she doesn't have a problem with Yulong having more than one wife. After all, polygamy is normal here. In the past, Uxin heard a king of a distant nation had over 300 concubines. Yulong, you better treat them well. Uxin gazed at her son's golden eyes. What? Yulong responded in confusion. Treat who? Just remember my advice. Uxin shook her head because Yulong was sometimes such a goofball, but he was not that dense. He caught hints very quickly. She glanced at Xia Qingyu and smiled. Qingyu, monitor him well. If you ever see him gone astray, you must lead him to a proper path. Yulong's mouth twitched. What do you mean by gone astray? If I want to be a horrible person, this world won't be this peaceful anymore. And this statement is true. Even in his first life, Yulong didn't know the limits of Kaiju Maker. He was simply limited by the essence of an immature mutated world. However, this world is different. Yulong can trace everything back to the primordial era where gods and devils lived. He might even touch the beginning of primal chaos. Xia Qingyu's face brightened as she replied, "Leave it to me, mother." "Ah, you're so adorable." Uxin hugged her soon-to-be daughter. Meanwhile, Lan Shiro nudged her daughter a little. "Don't lose to Qingyu. Remember, Yulong is your champion. Your chance isn't low." "Mother, how could you say that? Yulong and I are too young." Qingyu refuted Lan Shiro's words. However, the blush on her fair cheeks failed to hide emotion. Lan Shiro shook her head because having a relationship with a talented youth like Yulong is the key to the future. She wasn't the opportunistic kind of a woman as she was originally a farmer girl who luckily met the young Blue Wind Empire's emperor years ago. She has taught her daughter how to be a virtuous, kind-hearted, and humble lady. Right now, what Qingyu needs is more confidence and drive to build her future. Su Sanchen and Su Nanan walked to the Yulong and said, "We are going to visit the Eternal Night royal family's hidden ancestral burial ground. Do you want to follow us? We talked about this to your parents a while back." "No, thanks." Yulong answered casually. "Hehe, I know you'd say that." Su Sanchen chuckled helplessly. "You heard him, Nanan." Su Nanan sighed and commented, "Fine, you win. Are you betting on my decision?" Yulong was speechless. "Something like that." They answered simultaneously. The grandparents glanced at each other and laughed. "Come on." Yulong felt his grandparents were so unreliable. "If you want to arouse my interest, bring me some souvenirs when you return instead." "What kind?" "I don't know, artifacts, profound arts records, or maybe Eternal Night royal family's remains. Something like bones or their essence blood." Su Sanchen. Su Nanan. This brat literally asked them to escape their ancestor's tomb. Seriously? Serious, serious. Yulong affirmed twice with a smile on his face. Su Sanchen pondered about this matter for a second. As the oldest royal member in this era, he could decide what to do regarding the Eternal Night royal family before Yulong wanted to inherit this position. Taking some remains of the death would be deemed immoral no matter how one sees it. However, Su Sanshan has witnessed Yulong's prowess in profound patterns and aspects. The youngest prince is a real deal. If their ancestors' remains could push Yulong's research even further, giving some shouldn't be a problem. Su Sanshan was sure the ancestors would understand his decision. It's only natural. Very well. We'll be back in 1 or 2 months. Su Sanshan replied positively. See you soon, grandson. Su Nanan waved her hand and bade farewell to others before vanishing. Waving his hand back, Yulong expected his grandparents to bring surprising gifts. Yulong turned around and said, "Well, it's time to do our job properly. The holiday is over." 1 day later. With the addition of Kang Yu and Chu Yueli, Yulong's courtyard became more vibrant. One is the princess of the Blue Wind Empire. The other is the fairy of the frozen cloud Asgard. Their status did hold some weight. Hongguan, Lily. Yulong called for his maids. "Yes, young master. What's your command?" They responded while standing before him. Yulong rubbed his chin and said, "Hongguan, give me a report about the main headquarters' situation in the last 3 months. Lily checks the array formation around Tanki." "Okay. Easy peasy." They disappeared like fleeting shadows, shocking Kang Yu and Chu Yueli. So fast, they are at least Tyrant Profound Realm experts. Chu Yueli thought solemnly. She gazed at Yulong, finding this situation rather ridiculous. However, it seems she was making a great choice to be his servant. So what if the frozen cloud Asgard experiences a calamity? As long as Yulong was here, the so-called calamity is nothing. "Don't stare at me like that." Yulong waved his hand at Chu Yueli. "What you know and have seen about me is a mere tip of the iceberg. You'll learn things slowly. The same goes for you, Sweruo." "Understood." Kang Yu nodded with a smile. She was happy when Yulong called her Sweruo instead of the princess. "What about me?" Xia Qingyu pulled the corner of Yulong's sleeve. "She looks adorable when asking this question." Yulong chuckled, "Just focus on integrating art series into your ocean quake symbols. Your technique has potential, Qingyu, believe me." After watching Xia Qingyu match Chu Yueli's ice wave a week ago, Yulong recalled that her profound art was similar to Whitebeard's Tremor Fruit, Gura Gura no Mi, ability. Of course, Gura Gura no Mi wasn't as good as ocean quake symbols. After all, ocean quake symbols could still grow by integrating more profound arts. In Xia Qingyu's hand, ocean quake symbols will become a profound art that shakes heaven and earth. I mastered water and lightning." Xia Qingyu mumbled to herself. "What element should I add next?" "Wind," Yulong advised. "Wind is versatile, and you can increase the range of your vibration with it. Remember, you have learned shockwave from my science book. Then, I'll add art of wind to my profound art." Xia Qingyu pumped her fist excitedly. After that, Xia Qingyu gave Yulong's cheek a smooch to mark her territory and went to her room. The corner of Kang Yu's mouth twitched. "This girl. My past actions are foolish." Chu Yueli sighed in defeat. She wanted to separate a girl like Xia Qingyu from Yulong. What a big dream she had. Yulong walked away and said, "Follow me. From now on, you will be Shadow Realm's shadow brides. You must maintain sector zones under Shadow Realm's jurisdiction and serve me. Chu Yueli, you'll be responsible for the North Sector. Sweruo, you'll be responsible for the West Sector. Don't make mistakes because you will face heavy consequences." Yulong led them to the underground facility and opened a new world for both ladies. This is... Chu Yueli trembled in fear. Kang Yu felt her legs become jelly. What they currently saw is a massive yard with countless shadow agents walking around. Each of them possesses the power to destroy any noble clans and even sects in the profound sky continent. They also noticed a massive hole where rays flowed down and generated more profound strength in the atmosphere. This place is 100, if 1,000, times better than the outside world. Yu Long opened his arms and stated, "Welcome to the Shadow Realm." Chapter 64, Chu Yueli's transformation in affiliated sect. 3 days later. Drifting River City, Yu Clan. Inside an underground facility and sealed research room, Yu Long sat on a comfortable chair and stared at Chu Yueli calmly. He drank a heart-opening liquid and said, "Chu Yueli, have you ever thought that this world isn't as simple as it is?" "I have." Chu Yueli answered honestly. "But it was merely children's thoughts, young master. Not worth mentioning." Yu Long shook his head slightly and chuckled, "What if I told you there is a higher realm out there? Let's not mention Sky Profound Realm, even Sovereign Profound Realm, or what we have widely known as Monarch among powerhouses in the Profound Sky is nothing there. Monarchs only qualified as servants. Not only do the people out there possess a better cultivation base, but they also see monarchs as nothing but playthings. Profound God? No, that's merely a starting step to the divine realm." He mocked this low-star realm's ignorance. But then again, it was a good thing because Blue Pole Star is safe from divine realm's influence. With the amount of God's legacies on this planet, some greedy people won't hold their hands back. "Young master, how could you joke like that?" Chu Yueli responded with a helpless expression. Yu Long stared at her eyes playfully. "Do you think I'm lying, Yueli? Remember, what kind of master you served." Chu Yueli's body trembled a little as she tried to calm herself down from this shock. He's right. She just became Yu Long's shadow bride 3 days ago. She witnessed indescribable things, starting from the power of Shadow Realm and the fact that Yu Long built this organization at the age of 7. At the age of freaking 7. When she was 7, Chu Yueli and her sister were merely groveling in the forest with no sense of direction. Meanwhile, Yu Long achieved more things than her. Not to mention many things Yu Long invented that no other factions on the Profound Sky continent. The matter of heart-opening liquid and heart-sensing art alone is shocking enough already, but no. Yu Long goes over and beyond, inventing profound patterns, aspects, and incarnations. Over 5 years, Shadow Realm has more than enough power to conquer the Profound Sky continent. Shadow Realm hasn't exposed itself to the real world yet. However, Yu Long has ordered the organization to initiate the first plan. Soon, the Profound Sky continent would experience a turbulent change. Phew! Chu Yueli patted her chest and made them jiggle a little. Yu Long maintained his poker expression but cursed inside. This woman is so clueless about her actions. Chu Yueli opened her mouth and said, "There must be a reason why the young master told me this, right?" "Yes." Yu Long nodded calmly. "It has something to do with your frozen cloud Asgard. Or deeply connected more than you thought. You know about the ancestor of your sect, no?" "Yes." Chu Yueli nodded attentively. "She appeared more than 1,000 years ago and took ill-fated girls, building the frozen cloud Asgard with the base of her high attainment toward the ice element. That ancestor is someone from a higher realm." Yu Long flatly said. "Pardon?" Chu Yueli couldn't believe her eyes for a moment. Yu Long smirked. "Yueli, my family actually had a deep connection with your sect. Your ancestor is a friend of our first queen. Eternal Night Queen saved your ancestor, who was in a horrible condition. In return, she gave us a prophecy." "Prophecy?" Chu Yueli struck in realization. "Eternal Night Queen? Why, young master, are you perhaps?" Yu Long smirked. "Yes, I'm the youngest prince of the Eternal Night royal family." "Well, let's put this matter aside. As I tweaked frozen cloud arts around, I discovered the weakness you have learned recently. At the same time, I also traced its original form. I believe there is a better version of frozen cloud arts in your sect, but no one could cultivate it. Yes, it's called frozen and divine arts." Chu Yueli affirmed his claim. Yu Long snapped his finger and created snowflakes in the room, dropping the temperature rapidly. "Ice Phoenix God Investiture Cannon, this is the original form of frozen and divine arts. Frozen cloud arts is merely an inferior version of it. Ice Phoenix God Investiture Canon. Ice Phoenix? It seems you have connected the dots. Yulong placed his chin on the back of his hand. Chu Yueli's lips trembled, the reason no one could cultivate frozen and divine arts. Is it because we don't have the corresponding bloodline? The bloodline of Ice Phoenix, no wonder. Correct. Yulong smacked his hand and created a small bird with icy blue feathers. Ice Phoenix God Investiture Canon is profound art that originates from the Ice Phoenix, one of the 3 supreme water attribute beasts. An existence from the age of gods. With such resistance, only a handful of people could cultivate beside the bloodline bearer. Chu Yueli stood silently on the spot, feeling like she was an ant in this universe. What was she proud about in the past? People give her the title Fairy of the Frozen Glass, but it means nothing. Yulong noticed Chu Yueli's expression and said, "Don't look so depressed. I already modified frozen cloud arts to make it stronger and no less than its original form. However, why don't we put this a step further? Chu Yueli, I'll give you 10 drops of altered Phoenix's bloodline. It will boost your innate talent and make you soar like Phoenix. Your task is to endure it. Or else you'll die. I'm your servant and test subject." Chu Yueli said firmly. "I already devoted myself to you." "Good." Yulong bit his finger and created 10 small floating blobs. Each releases an extreme chill. Chu Yueli swallowed heavily. She could feel radiating power coming from these drops of blood. "Calm your heart, and accept my blood." 10 drops of blood suddenly penetrated Chu Yueli's body. She groaned in pain as she dropped to the floor miserably. Her eyes widened in fear because the blood was too much. "Why Young?" Chu Yueli tried to call Yulong, but his dim golden eyes greeted her instead. "It makes her sober." Chu Yueli gritted her teeth and entered a lotus position, running frozen cloud arts. Yulong watched snowflakes covering Chu Yueli and forming a cocoon around her body. The altered bloodline has reached her bone marrow, heart, and 8 main meridians and changed them. 3 hours later, the cocoon cracked and exploded into pieces. Ice mist filled the room as a cold beauty appeared. Her flawless, desirable body was proudly displayed. Especially that twin mountains and sizable rear because she only wore a thin robe made of ice threads. She has a few strands of white hair falling from her head, but it's not the type of hair you've seen from old age. Her white hair is lustrous and silky, creating the illusion of falling snow when flowing with her black hair. As she opened her eyes, a pair of icy blue eyes revealed. Damn! This world and its beauty standard. Yulong couldn't help but blink in disbelief. He stared at Chu Yueli's new appearance respectfully and admitted her beauty was at the same level as Hongguan. No, Chu Yueli has this icy charm that Hongguan doesn't have. Meanwhile, Chu Yueli clenched her hand and felt her body's strength increase by leaps. There are no impurities in her body anymore. She even obtained heavenly gods' spiritual veins. All her profound entrances are simultaneously unblocked. Chu Yueli greets young master. Chu Yueli kneeled on the ground. I didn't know how to repay the young master's kindness in this lifetime. From now on, I'll try everything to satisfy you, young master. There is a hint of hope in her voice when saying this line. Yulong waved his hand casually and said, "It's nothing. We are not done yet," he added while handing a book to Chu Yueli. The words Chronicle of Frozen World are written at the top. "Yuan, come here." "Hee, I'm out." Yuan appeared and neutralized the coldness in the room. Her fiery presence makes Chu Yueli nervous. "Hello, Chu Yueli. I'm Yulong's humble servant and originally the residual soul of Phoenix God. And I'm here to teach you. Young master is a busy person, you know? He has no time to train you. Although I'm a fire phoenix, formerly, I know Ice Phoenix and her profound art isn't that unfamiliar to me." She confidently pushed her chest upward. 3 months. Yu Long stared at Chu Yueli. I give you 3 months to familiarize yourself with Chronicle of Frozen World. After that, we will show the world Shadow Realm's first affiliated section. Understood. Chu Yueli felt a little more excited than she should be. 3 months later. In the Blue North County, a sect suddenly appeared out of nowhere and announced itself to the world. Several factions received invitation letters. You're invited to attend the opening ceremony of our section. At the bottom of the letter, they saw 3 bold characters painted with golden ink. Lost Heaven Sect. Chapter 65, Lost Heaven Sect, 1. Blue North County. Chain Clouds Mountain Range. In a mighty mountain range, a row of stairs led to a majestic building with a dark tiled roof. Tall rocky walls encircled the building and the mountain range itself, having a great river flowing on the east and a volcano on the west. Several white clouds hang over the building, causing sunlight to fall on specific points. At the entrance of the majestic building, a black stone stood firmly. The Lost Heaven Sect characters are naturally carved at the top and release dim golden light. Beneath the Lost Heaven Sect characters are words of wisdom. Human, Earth, and Heaven are the foundations of the universe. We are humans and walk on Earth. Yet we couldn't grasp Heaven. Heaven may be kind but confining. Then we might as well reach over Heaven. One's body is the boundary. One's heart is the path. One's spirit is the force. With all foundations, one may find the lost heaven. A mysterious rhyme surrounded the black stone and enchanted anyone who read it. If one stands long enough, one's soul would get sucked into a pure white land of enlightenment. Of course, you can't stay there for too long, or you'd become an idiot. The building will appear bigger than it seems on the outside. There are clean tiled floors, greenery on the side of the road, and several courtyards connected to the main building. A ray formation could be seen on the building, interlocking with an area of 100,000 miles as if the whole mountain is simply the body of the building. At the foot of the mountain range, carriages were neatly parked as people overcrowded the area. So, this is the Lost Heaven Sect, said a man in a yellow robe. A solemn look plastered his face because the new sect was more imposing than he thought. He glanced around, knowing they were likewise invited to the opening ceremony of the Lost Heaven Sect as well. He spotted some famous people and added, it seems even the 4 great sect of Blue Wind Empire is similarly also invited. Heavenly Sword Villa, Lingwukuo. Burning Heaven Clan, Fenduan Kang. Xiao Sect, Xiao Chuishan. And Frozen Cloud Asgard, Chu Yueli. Brave, so brave. The man in the yellow robe commented. I wonder how Lost Heaven Sect maintained its face before these masters. Fenduan King laughed. Sect Master Xiao, you attended this matter personally. It seems Xiao Sect put so much importance on the Lost Heaven Sect. Fenduan King, I merely visited to see how great the Lost Heaven Sect was. My Xiao Sect has no relation with this new section. Xiao Chuishan answered with a frown. After the Heavenly Spear Thunderfire Fortress's disappearance half a year ago, the sudden emergence of Lost Heaven Sect aroused my suspicions. Is that so? Fenduan King shrugged. What do you think, Elder Wukuo? You've been staring at the stairs for a while now. The Elder of Burning Heaven Clan asked the humble-looking elder nearby. The elder has a sword strapped on his waist. He glanced at Fenduan King and replied calmly, you two underestimated this sect too much. Everyone received the invitation from Lost Heaven Sect with a clue but no trace. It's enough to alert my villa master, so he sends me here. They felt a chill sensation and saw Chu Yueli calmly staring at the sky. It's been a while, Fairy Chu. They greeted her. Chu Yueli nodded and responded humbly, hello, elders. Her melodious voice caused a ripple in their hearts. Even Ling Wukuo, who has sharpened his heart of sword, couldn't help but suck cold breath. Chu Yueli currently wore a frosty blue veil over her face. However, it couldn't conceal her flawless skin, dainty eyes, and calm aura. I haven't seen Fairy of the Frozen Glass for a while, but you definitely look more beautiful than before. Xiao Zhuishan praised. You might even surpass your sister by now. Fen Duanqing nodded in agreement. You're also stronger than before. Ling Wuqiu commented slowly. Chu Yueli opened her mouth, thanks for the compliment, but there is a gap between me and my sister. The three elders thought Chu Yueli was humble. They would have never thought in their wildest area that Chu Yueli agreed with their statement. She wasn't talking about the gap, with her on the bottom. After becoming Shadow Bride, Chu Yueli knew she had exceeded her sister in every field. It's all thanks to her young master. Around a week ago, Chu Yueli returned to the frozen cloud Asgard with a female shadow agent who acted as her disciple and shocked her master. Not only was she advancing beyond her master's belief, she also brought over a talented disciple. Her current cultivation is the 7th level of Sky Profound Realm. Esteemed guests, I welcome you to the Lost Heaven sect. Someone suddenly announced. Everyone stared at the staircases again and saw a red-haired woman in a purple robe standing calmly. She's a beauty, especially with an alluring body and face. Hong Guan. Chu Yueli blinked in surprise. The red-haired woman smiled and continued, My name is Hong Guan, and I'm the first elder of the Lost Heaven sect. Please follow me inside. The ceremony is about to start. Some people wanted to say something, but when they sensed Hong Guan's cultivation base, they shivered and shut their mouths. Tyrant. Fen Duankang's mouth twitched in disbelief. Fuck, Lost Heaven sect have a tyrant profound realm expert on their side. Xiao Zhuishan cursed between his breaths. Ling Wuqiu shakes his head helplessly because showing her cultivation base as an overlord and not bothering to cover it means the Lost Heaven sect is showing its dominance to them. She's warning them not to make trouble. Everyone thought the same thing, if the Lost Heaven sect's elder is already this strong, how powerful is the sect leader? Villa Master is Emperor Profound Realm expert and is considered one of the strongest masters in the Blue Wind Empire. Just where did this Lost Heaven sect come from? Ling Wuqiu thought this seriously. A sect must have a foundation and background. Heavenly Sword Villa, for example. Their ancestor was a disciple of the Heavenly Mighty Sword region and left the sect due to his low talent. There is also the Divine Phoenix Empire with a deep foundation as it started from a sect and possesses a holy place, such as the Phoenix Trial Ground. Ling Wuqiu was sure the Lost Heaven sect had no connection with the 4 great sacred grounds. However, this is also why he was baffled at the moment. What the hell does Overlord do in this barren empire? Blue Wind Empire hasn't produced Overlord for a long time. No, they might not even have any. Hong Guan didn't care about their thoughts as she walked upstairs. Chu Yueli was the first to step out and follow her. Let's go. Ling Wuqiu said to Fen Duanqing and Xiao Zhuishan. Today, they are walking to the den of monsters. After walking for a while, they arrived at a massive platform, and ahead of them were more stairs. Everyone, stay on your spot. Hong Guan snapped her finger, and the platform released dim white light. Ding! They miraculously arrived at the entrance of the Lost Heaven sect. Gasps escaped their mouths. This is teleportation array. Ling Wuqiu couldn't contain his shock. How did the Lost Heaven sect possess such a thing? Hong Guan smiled and answered, You're wrong. The one I used is the space folding array. So, I didn't teleport you guys. The 2 spaces are simply folded and connected. Everyone breathed with a dumbfounded expression and noticed the profound strength here was many times purer than outside. Fen Duanqing mumbled, If I cultivate here, I could achieve twice the result with half of the effort. Yes. It's unbelievable. Xiao Zhuishan added. As they entered the front gate, the black stone caught their attention. Human, earth, and heaven. Ling Wuqiu felt the deep meaning behind the words of wisdom. He tried to find the essence, but how could he, whose sensitivity is so low, comprehend profound aspects? His mind literally turned upside down a second later. Hong Guan giggled, the sect master left this black stone behind for the young generations. You can stay here to feel its mystery, but you will miss the ceremony. Lost Heaven Sect's master. Everyone gazed at the black stone solemnly. Just what kind of person this sect master is. Chapter 66, Lost Heaven Sect, 2. Over 300 guests walked into the courtyard. They come from 3rd grade sects to 1st grade sects like Heavenly Sword Villa, Burning Heaven Clan, Xiao Sect, and Frozen Cloud Asgard. However, walking on the white paved floor of Lost Heaven Sect really makes them feel like country bumpkins. It is because every building material in this new sect costs a fortune. From road to wall, even the freaking greenery on the side makes their eyes twitch in wonder. White coarse mystic gravels, sunrock and black slate stone. Even the rare air-changing willow tree. Someone well-versed in business murmured in disbelief. No wonder the profound strength in the atmosphere is so pure. The tree alone could purify energy in the 100-meter square if placed long enough. Ling Wuqiu sighed, thinking that even his Heavenly Sword Villa wasn't this extravagant. Rich. Lost Heaven Sect is too rich. Chu Yueli shook her head at their reaction. She is also shocked when she knows how wealthy the Shadow Realm is. Shadow Realm's revenue is more than 7 nations in the whole continent. Even the Black Moon Merchant Guild didn't know about this because they operated in micro-sized businesses, such as food and clothes fields under everyone's nose. But then again, no one knows. They are moving and living in the shadows. After walking for 5 more minutes and enjoying the scenery, they arrived at the courtyard where several Lost Heaven Sect's disciples lined up in a martial arena. Several seats were neatly placed on a wooden platform to face the martial arena, each made with comfortable materials. On the center, farthest seat, a purple-robed man sat calmly. He had a tall but toned build, long black hair, and wore a tribal white mask that resembled a demon. Purple and red auras are swirling around him, giving them a mystic feeling. Fuck, we can't sense his strength at all. The guests thought solemnly. All they felt when seeing the Lost Heaven Sect was a massive mountain overshadowing them. They felt like an ant before him. Ha! Villa Master, it seems you're making a great choice of sending me here. Ling Wuqiu clenched his hand instinctively. The Heavenly Sword Villa's master was suspicious about the Lost Heaven Sect's invitation, so he sent the elder with the most wisdom. If it was any other elder, Ling Wuqiu was afraid they wouldn't show enough respect toward this great master. Xiao Sect's leader felt overwhelmed but happy at the moment. As the leader of his sect, he could decide to form a connection with the Lost Heaven Sect's leader right now. Others aren't so lucky because they sent representatives here. Lost Heaven Master, the guests have arrived. Hong Guan bowed to the purple-robed man. The Lost Heaven Master glanced at the guests and nodded, "Please sit down. The ceremony is about to get started." Even his voice carries so much power. Some people thought when hearing Lost Heaven Master's deep voice. They sat down, and some disciples immediately placed pleasantries for them, such as food and drinks. At first, they thought it was normal. But then they realized the foods and drinks are actually made with rare ingredients, and only the first-class sect could afford these in large amounts. The Lost Heaven Master raised a cup and said calmly, "This toast is for everyone. Enjoy the banquet of Lost Heaven Sect's opening ceremony. Let's start this with a festive spirit." Music started playing as beautiful dancers appeared in the martial arena, showing exquisite movement. The elder of Chasing Thunder Sect gulped nervously and tasted the food, feeling his profound strength boil in excitement. Collective gasps echoed on the wooden platform. "This is... my cultivation shows a sign of breakthrough. Miracle, what a miracle!" Fen Duanking covered his mouth in delight. "If only I could eat this kind of food every day. It's simply too expensive." "You said that, but even as a sect master, I can't afford to do that." Xiao Chuishan chuckled helplessly. The mood becomes merrier as the sight of beautiful dancers and the sounds of music capture the spirit of Lost Heaven Sect's opening. Everyone is so impressed. They would have never thought a newly opened sect possessed such a deep pocket. Roar! All of a sudden, a mighty roar echoed on the mountain range. Everyone stopped and lifted their heads, watching a massive creature descending from the sky. It was a dragon. Scarlet Dragon. Burning Heaven Clan's elders, Fenduan King stared at the 100-meter-long profound beast and trembled. Emperor Profound Beast. Damn, there is an Emperor Profound Beast in the Lost Heaven sect. That's Lost Heaven sect's guardian beast, Scarlet Dragon. Hongguan was quickly introduced to everyone. She smiled and added, he'll be staying for the opening ceremony. The Scarlet Dragon opened his mouth and said, humans, I hope you give my sect a deserved respect, or you'll regret it. Every guest awkwardly nodded their heads. They didn't know it wasn't a warning but an advice. After that, the Scarlet Dragon glanced at the purple-robed man on the highest seat and landed on the ground nearby. He only sent his avatar. The profound beast thought to himself. Well, that's expected. He's probably watching somewhere else. However, when the Scarlet Dragon gazed around and spotted a familiar person in the martial arena, his slitted eyes widened in shock. As the music stopped playing and the dancer retreated, a black-haired youth in a purple martial robe slowly entered the martial arena. The profound beast wanted to curse but held himself back. Fuck, shit, motherfucker. What are you doing there? Well, his mind is something else. The youth's appearance caught everyone's attention. What a handsome youth! Said a female guest. I can't disagree with you. Said another female guest. At a young age, he already has such a devilish charm. The youth is over 160 centimeters with a lean and toned build. That devilish yet handsome face was perfectly crafted with sharp eyebrows, a high nose, and thin lips. He also has bright golden eyes that seemingly probe the maiden's heart, making him even more charming. Although he wore a loose purple martial robe and black pants, they couldn't hide some of his well-developed muscle and youthful spirit. Master. The youth bowed to the Lost Heaven Master. The Lost Heaven Master responded with a nod. After that, he bowed to guests, esteemed guests. My name is Yu Long. I'm the head disciple of Lost Heaven sect. Today, I'll demonstrate our sect's profound arts. So young. Someone couldn't help but utter. He looks no older than 16 and a head disciple. Are you dumb? He literally greeted the Lost Heaven Master as his master. Another guest rolled his eyes. Ah, does that mean? Yes, he's the disciple of the sect master. Everyone fell into realization. Ling Wuqiu, Fenduan Kang, and Xiao Chuishan gazed at Yu Long with interest and curiosity. A disciple of such a great master shouldn't be ordinary. But something felt off. How to put it, this youth feels no special besides his appearance. Ling Wuqiu couldn't sense anything from Yu Long. His profound energy is concealed. I can't sense his cultivation base. His breathing is too normal. I can't sense how powerful he is. If he's the disciple of the Lost Heaven Master. Ling Wuqiu glanced at the Lost Heaven sect's master, finding the man leaning on the chair relaxedly. What a relaxing position. The Lost Heaven Master must be confident in his disciple's ability. Before we start, does anyone have a question? Yu Long uttered casually. How old are you, Junior? One female guest asked curiously. Upon hearing this question, every guest's ear perked up. They stared at Yu Long and waited for his reply. Yu Long smiled and replied honestly, 12. Everyone. Ha ha ha, old age has affected my ears. Someone laughed helplessly. 12 years old. Profound veins only matured at the age of 14. Good joke, Junior. Good joke. The female guest giggled in amusement. Yu Long shook his head gently and responded, I'm telling the truth. I'm indeed 12 years old. My disciple would never lie. Lost Heaven Master suddenly said, causing the guest to shut their mouths. Chill penetrated their spines as the invisible pressure was slightly released by the purple-robed man on the highest seat. Yulong sighed helplessly. There is a rare case when one's profound veins matured earlier. And I'm one of them. Then, if I may know, what's your current cultivation base? Ling Wuqiu asked this time. Showing it would be faster. Yulong responded. As everyone's eyes focused on Yulong, they could finally sense his profound strength. It was pure and dense. Crack. Some people unconsciously shattered cups in their hands. Peak. Earth Profound Realm. Watching the shocked expression, Yulong laughed like a villain in his heart. Hee, this is what I call hiding in plain sight. Chapter 67, Lost Heaven Sect, 3. 12 years old. 10th level of Earth Profound Realm. It's not an overestimation to call him a half-step Sky Profound Realm either. What a monstrous genius! Every representative of sex in the Blue Wind Empire sucks a cold breath. They couldn't imagine how Yulong achieved this at such a young age. His age is literally a quarter of theirs or even more. The handsome-looking youth smiled at them innocently, making them feel worthless. Humans always compare themselves to others, and when they feel inferior, they can't help but look down on themselves. Shock. Disbelief. Jealousy. Awe. Fear. These emotions pulsated in their hearts. Third-class and second-class sects are the majority of guests. And their representatives aren't any better than Yulong. They felt embarrassed, to be honest. Even the female guest who asked Yulong earlier couldn't help but blush at her own ignorance. She shouldn't have asked this handsome-looking little monster. The curiosity of a woman is endless. So, any more questions? Yulong asked them once again. He continued to say, feels free to ask. I don't mind that you were doubting me. After all, no one would believe such a young profound practitioner would reach this level. It's simply ridiculous. Feel free in your head. You're ridiculous. They wanted to lash out at this little monster but knew they couldn't. The Lost Heaven Master literally watched them from behind, observing their reaction silently. A little bit of his pressure was enough to make them release cold sweat like a wet dog, so they didn't want to imagine what would happen if he was angry. Oh, pitiful humans! If only you know the real monster is watching you suffer for his amusement. Scarlet Dragon thought at this sight. The profound beast shook his head and kept quiet. Yulong glanced back slightly. His golden eyes met with the Scarlet Dragon's eyes. Fuck! Don't notice me, don't notice me, don't notice me! Scarlet Dragon prayed and looked away. Unfortunately, none of the guests noticed the Scarlet Dragon's weird reaction. Yulong let the Scarlet Dragon be and heard someone responding to his words earlier. Cough. Ahem, please continue, Junior. Ling Wuqiu said calmly after clearing his throat. Yulong nodded and walked to the center of the martial arena. He closed his eyes and breathed in, giving everyone a feeling of extreme focus. He opened his eyes and revealed a pair of golden eyes with flashing electricity. Lost Heaven Sect focused on 3 foundations of the universe. Yulong breathed out and narrated. Human, Earth, and Heaven. He clenched his hand and brought it up. We cultivated 3 sensitivity of transcendence. Sensitivity of one's body. Sensitivity of one's heart. And the sensitivity of one's spirit. Human, Earth, and Heaven. Then, body, heart, and spirit. Everyone felt familiar with these lines. Ah, the black stone at the entrance. Ling Wuqiu smacked his forehead in realization. It was purposely left behind by the Lost Heaven Master for the Lost Heaven Sect's disciples. I see that the principalities are the foundation of this section. He frowned and whispered in confusion, I understand body and heart, but spirit. Yulong entered a laid-back stance with one hand behind his back and said, from now on, I'll only demonstrate the sensitivity of one's body. Elder Guan, please. Hong Guan nodded and snapped her fingers. Oi, Isn't this too much? The guests watched the array of formations around the martial arena change abruptly. Over 1,000 ballistics appeared and aimed at Yulong. Without warning, Hongguan activated the array and launched rain-like arrows toward Yulong from all sides. Yulong leisurely walked around and watched arrows slowly reaching his eyes. He smirked and somehow faded, making the arrows pass through his body as if he were a ghost. Each step isn't fast but rhythmic in limited space. Soon, the step sounds faded, leaving only the arrows' clashing noise. Everyone's eyes widened as Yulong's presence and breath disappeared from the martial arena. They thought he had died already, but as the ballistics stopped firing arrows, they could see Yulong standing in the arena unscathed. There are deeply charred grooves on the paved ground as if someone launched a ground attack. To possess sensitivity of the body means physical senses are constantly at 120%. To put it briefly, oversensitivity. Your body feels so light that you feel like you could do anything in your own boundary. 120%. Constantly at that. Is that even possible? Someone wondered after watching Yulong. This is too extreme. Since most cultivated profound strength because it was the norm, they abandoned body training and focused more on profound arts and skills. Controlling 100% of their physical prowess is so tough. And to maintain it constantly is nearly impossible. They most likely break their bodies apart rather than gain more power. Of course, it was different for Sky Profound Realm experts. To reach the Sky Profound Realm, one has to comprehend oneself, whether it is one's body, energy, or skills, to soar freely. Almost everyone chooses energy because their bodies will become stronger when they break through anyway. That's what every profound practitioner at the peak of Earth Profound Realm thought. Still, what if the two elements combined? Human, body. Fenduan King tried to connect the dots, but his perception was too poor to understand the Lost Heaven Sex Principality. Xiao Chuishan looked down and stared at his wrinkled hand, body. Xiao Sect always focused on wind-based profound arts. We trained our body but mainly used it to make our profound skills flow more smoothly. Our essence is solely based on this principle. 4 years. Ling Wuqiu blinked and solemnly stared at his hand, which was actually filled with calluses from swinging his sword too much. It was a method to make him more in one with his sword. For an elder of Heavenly Sword Villa, his sword is his lifeline. Yulong smiled when he saw these people trying to grasp oversensitivity and shook his head. They have long believed profound veins and entrances are everything. He didn't say it was too late for them to comprehend this, but the younger generation would have a better chance. The only way to cheat this is heart-opening liquid. Lost Heaven Sect has a way of raising one's sensitivity. However, it was quite expensive. Yulong suddenly said. Wait, what? The guests immediately glared at him. Yulong waved his hand to calm them down and brought out a white pill with a blue flower mark. This pill is called Heart-Linking Pill in the Lost Heaven Sect, and we use it to enhance one's sensitivity temporarily. After a few usages, you'll get used to the enhancement and increase your sensitivity naturally. Hehe, they didn't know that the heart-linking pill is a waste part of heart-opening liquid. Its effect is 0.1% of the heart-opening liquid, which is useless for the Shadow Realm as it was piling up in their warehouse for years but useful for these ignorant cultivators. Such a miraculous pill! Ling Wuqiu's eyes lit up. Haha, calm down, seniors. Yulong put on a troubled look as their gazes were too intense. We can discuss this matter later. I haven't demonstrated the sensitivity of the body. Oh, that's right. They felt embarrassed again. Yulong smiled and continued, for the next demonstration, I'd like to invite some seniors to the martial arena. Anyone with peak Earth Profound Realm cultivation may come and fight me. The guests' mouths twitched simultaneously. After watching Yulong's performance, they have no confidence to fight him. They are going to embarrass themselves if they come to the arena. Fight you? Hell fucking no. However, at this very moment, a greater force pulled them into temptation. The Lost Heaven Master opened his mouth and said, "Anyone who comes to the stage and fights my disciple may receive 10 heart-linking pills for free." His calm voice makes them shiver. The representatives from first class and second class sects gritted their teeth and stood up from their seats. They looked at each other bitterly and jumped to the martial arena. 11 people are at peak Earth Profound Realm. There are more people than the young master has guessed. Chu Yueli smiled when seeing these clueless people entering the martial arena. Well, the more people enter the arena, the more fun young master have. Chu Yueli licked her lips. Fun, hey? After absorbing young master's blood, a desire awakened from the depth of my heart. It was a shameful desire, but I couldn't do anything about it. After being tied up for over a week, I felt restless to be this free. Ah, young master! Chu Yueli stared at Yu Long longingly. Yuan, the perverted phoenix, is a bad influence, after all. Yu Long cupped his hand and said, "Senior, please advise me. But to make it short, why don't all of you come together?" The 11 Earth Profound Realm experts glanced at each other. Isn't Yu Long looking at them too much? Do it. The Lost Heaven Master said indifferently. If my disciple loses, you'll be given 20 more heart-linking pills. The 11 Earth Profound Realm experts gulped. Hehe, I hope you don't regret this, Junior. I won't hold back. You brought this up to yourself. Yes, yes. Juniors should know their limits. Yu Long entered the laid-back stance again and said, "Well, we will see about that." Chapter 68, Lost Heaven Sect, Final. Under everyone's watchful gaze, Yu Long entered a laid-back stance with several flawed openings. His right arm is behind his back, and the other is on his hip. The 11 Peak Earth Profound Realm experts stared at this monstrous junior solemnly. They couldn't afford to look down on him. If they won, it wouldn't be a pleasing victory because they are bullying kid with numbers. And if they lose, it would be the most embarrassing moment of their lives. In this lose-lose situation, the Lost Heaven Master's promise of giving them 10 heart-linking pills by participating alone could make them feel slightly better. The concept of sensitivity is proven new, and they are eager to learn it. Once they could grasp the core of sensitivity, their power. No, their sex might become stronger in the future. Yu Long would be laughing his ass off if he knew what they were thinking right now. Unless they are 1 in 10 million geniuses, they won't understand the meaning of humans, Earth, and Heaven in 10 years. Not to mention, the effect of the heart-linking pill is garbage. Let's start. Yu Long said with a smile. Ding! Hong Guan snapped her finger again, and an array formation barrier appeared around the martial arena. The barrier will prevent any attacks from escaping the arena. We don't want other people to get injured, no. She giggled when the other guests stared at her. Understandable. Ling Wuqiu and others nodded in understanding. The third and second class sex representatives will accidentally get hurt if there is no barrier. Compared to the 11 people and Yu Long in the martial arena, they are too weak. In the martial arena, Yu Long is quickly surrounded by 11 people. He put on a helpless smile because they weren't holding back. Junior, remember. Don't be too arrogant, even if you're a peak Earth Profound Realm like us. A middle-aged man said while crouching on the ground. We have more experience than you. The middle-aged man pounced like a tiger, creating a small shockwave behind him. His hands spread like claws, aiming at Yu Long's thighs. It looks like a wrestling move. That's the red tiger climbing the mountain. Someone uttered in shock. It's a famous profound skill from the Red Tiger sect. To think the middle-aged man is actually an elder from that section. Meanwhile, Yu Long smirked and shook his head. He lifted his leg slightly and kicked the middle-aged man on the chin, sending him back. Pa! The middle-aged man's vision becomes black. The last thing he could discern was a fleeting shadow of movement, that's it. Everyone blinked and silently watched the middle-aged man faint with a bubbling mouth. What the fuck happened? Ling Wuqiu, Fen Duankang, and Xiao Chuishan frowned. At that very brief moment, Yu Long concentrated his power into a single point and kicked his enemy on the chin. It was so fast, almost lightning-like, so only some people could see it. What a strong physique! 120%. Ling Wuqiu finally realized how important sensitivity was. It's not just sense that exceeded the normal standard, but also the boundary that comes with it. Spatial awareness. Proper placement. Extreme physical control. These 3 points are the basics profound practitioners should have. Shaking off their shocks, the rest of the fighters finally moved. They unleashed their profound skills, sending a flurry of attacks like palms, fists, and kicks. Each attack was skillfully imbued with profound strength and could break a massive rock apart easily. Yu Long gave them a knowing look and stomped the ground, causing a shockwave to blow upward. After that, he approached one of them and stretched his hand. What? The peak Earth Profound Realm expert couldn't even react as a hand smacked her abdomen mercilessly. She fainted and experienced the same fate as the first fallen, with a bubbling mouth on the ground. The rest was speechless. You can use your weapon, seniors. Yu Long scratched his cheek and laughed awkwardly. Say that earlier. You eliminated 2 of us already. Since this was only a spar, they thought using weapons would be too much. Without weapons, their strengths won't be at their peak. Yu Long could see 5 people bringing out swords, 2 bows, 1 spear, and 1 whip. Well, this will be fun. Breaking the common sense of these cultivators would bring more attention to the Lost Heaven sect. I like it. Although Yu Long didn't show his emotion, he's currently grinning inside. Junior, prepare yourself. The sword-wielding senior shouted at Yu Long. He and 4 other sword-wielders rushed toward Yu Long, displaying their flashy sword plays. Sun Moon, Thunder Slash. Death Wish. Thousand Storm Dance. Take my judgment cut. Slashing Sky. Yu Long read the profound patterns of each technique and swung his right hand. The punch is filled with tyrannical force and sweeps everything in its path. Boom! Black light escaped his fist and swallowed the sword slashes, causing an explosion. Yu Long was about to finish the 5 sword wielders when a spear came out of nowhere. He tilted his head to the left and dodged, seeing a black line in the corner of his vision. Well! Yu Long lifted his hand and caught the black line. Pulling the black line, a stupefied middle-aged woman squealed in surprise and flew to Yu Long. How? She didn't expect Yu Long to sense her fast whip, catch it, and even pull it to himself. Yu Long slapped the spear with his other hand and greeted the middle-aged man with a punch. Yug! Everyone hissed when Yu Long punched the poor middle-aged woman in the stomach. Damn, this boy is merciless. Someone said. He doesn't even lower his power when punching an elderly woman. To be kind to your enemy is to be cruel to yourself. Chu Yueli, who hadn't opened her mouth for a while, said indifferently. It doesn't matter what gender your enemy is. But this is only a spar. A female guest pouted. And 12-year-old junior could kill them anytime if this isn't a spar. So, what's your point? Chu Yueli stared at the female guest and added, are you going to say that in the life and death situation? If yes, then I suggest you stop cultivating and live as a normal person from now on. After all, you won't survive long with that mindset. Remember that profound way isn't an easy path to tread. We sacrifice something we dear off one way or another to become stronger. Fairy Chu is right. Ling Wuqiu continued while stroking his beard. In a battle, giving your enemy a leeway is a fatal mistake. Even if it was a spar, you shouldn't hold back. Profound way is not a child's play, girl. Fen Duankang chuckled at the female guest. It seemed this was your first time visiting the outside world. It's always the soft-hearted ones who die first. Xiao Chuishan sighed helplessly. Remember Fairy Chu's words well. You understood. The female guest paled and nodded silently. The fight continued as Yu Long left several after-images in the martial arena and struck the spear-wielding man with his casual punch. 2 more experts were down, leaving 7 people. Everyone, use everything you have. The leading sword-wielding man said solemnly. Junior, we truly underestimated you. It's nothing. Yu Long answered calmly. The sword-wielding man smiled and continued, prepare yourself. We will unleash our strongest attack. The bow-wielding experts drew their bowstrings as the 5 swordsmen advanced again. Yu Long watched sword slashes flying in the air and approached him. He wanted to blow them away like earlier, but an arrow intercepted his movement. Swoosh! A row of arrows shot by another archer also cut his possible way out. Everything is perfect. Yu Long couldn't possibly dodge their attacks now. Zsss. The sound of sizzling suddenly appeared. Their eyes widened because Yu Long's movement speed exceeded their sense. He moved so fast, destroying each sword slash, and even caught the arrows with the gap of his fingers. After that, they saw Yu Long calmly stand while others were lying on the floor. He lifted his hand and dropped pieces of sword and arrows. The sounds of the metal piece falling on the ground awakened them from this unbelievable sight. What was that? I blinked once, and everything ended already. Senior Ling. Fen Duanqing and Xiao Chuishan glanced at Ling Wuqiu, who had fallen into a deep thought. Ling Wuqiu's lips trembled as he mumbled, oversensitivity. What if 120% isn't the limit? Fen Duanqing. Xiao Chuishan. Abnormal. That's what they thought. What Yu Long did earlier was abnormal to this world's common sense. Fen Duanqing gulped and gazed into the distance, seeing countless disciples of the Lost Heaven sect watch this fight with uninterested expressions. Even if the other disciple is weaker than Yu Long, they are still a force one shouldn't underestimate. This is Lost Heaven sect. Xiao Chuishan's brows rubbed against each other. Soon, there will be no 4 major sects anymore. It would be 5 major sects. Lost Heaven Master clapped his hand and praised Yu Long, good job. Hehe, I'm in a good mood. Every guest shall receive 10 heart-linking pills. 11 people who come to the stage will be rewarded with 5 additional pills plus the amount I promised earlier. He stood up and shouted, ha ha ha, this is my Lost Heaven sect. From now on, I declared that Lost Heaven sect open to the public. Let's the world witness our emergence. May the Lost Heaven return to us. Hong Guan excitedly chanted. May the Lost Heaven return to us. The disciples followed. Yu Long also raised his hand and said amusingly, May the Lost Heaven return to us. The guests felt their souls shaken by the Lost Heaven Master's voice. Their minds are in disarray, but one thought is resurfacing. A new era has begun. Chapter 69, A Storm, The Emergence of Super Sect. In 23 hours, information about the Lost Heaven sect is circulating the profound sky continent. Of course, the source is none other than the Black Moon Merchant Guild. The emergence of the Lost Heaven sect shocked everyone. An unknown master. An unknown riches. A peerless talent that no one has ever seen before. Series of principality and unique medicine opened a whole unexplored opportunity for the profound practitioner, a sign of a new era. The Lost Heaven sect appeared out of nowhere like a ghost and swept the Blue Wind Empire. No, the profound sky continent as if they are a storm. The topic of sensitivity has been spread to all the sects in the Blue Wind Empire. With the newly introduced heart-linking pill, they can obtain a small and shocking result. Their cultivation speed increased, albeit slightly. Blue Wind Empire shook. Every sect wants a piece of pie from the newly appeared Lost Heaven sect. And the Lost Heaven sect is kind enough to sell them in a limited amount. For example, the third and second sects could only get 100 and 200 pills. The first class sect gets 300 and 400 if the Lost Heaven sect likes them enough. Heaven Sword Villa, Burning Heaven Clan, Xiao Sect, and Frozen Cloud Asgard get 600 pills with a lease. A week passed quickly, and the craze of buying the heart-linking pill became widespread like a forest fire. Unfortunately, Lost Heaven sect only sells a certain amount per sect. And that comes with a strict contract. The heart-linking pill shouldn't get resold. The amount one faction could get is actually based on their power. Finally, the Lost Heaven sect only sells heart-linking pills to the sect they deem worthy. Other nations caught the wind of this and tried to negotiate with the Lost Heaven sect. Some were successful, and some weren't, but the former immediately caused another shock in their home nations. The heart-linking pill is truly a miraculous drug. Due to this matter, many want to collaborate with the Lost Heaven sect. And many others become greedy, wanting to seize the Lost Heaven sect's secret. Countless independent profound practitioners and secret agents were quickly sent to the Lost Heaven sect, but none came back. Another shocking piece of news dropped like a bomb as the Lost Heaven sect won't supply any sect from the Sunflower Dew Empire anymore. Everyone thought this was laughable, but the destruction of Sunflower Dew Royal Palace and many other sects shut their mouths. Although there was no casualty in the attack, people aren't dumb and can connect the dots. The Sunflower Dew Empire has offended someone they shouldn't offend. Not long after, some people saw the Emperor of Sunflower Dew Empire kneeling at the foot of Chain Cloud Mountain Range. He also brought his son, who looks like a beaten-up pig. To make a leader of a nation bow to you like this. Other nations couldn't help but nervously watch from the sidelines. After a month, the four great sacred grounds finally made their moves and sent their representatives to the Lost Heaven sects. They wanted to acquire the essence of sensitivity and a recipe for the heart-linking pill. This meeting is very secretive, and only a handful of people know. Yet everyone in the Chain Cloud Mountain Range felt immense pressure that day. Come here and get it if you can. A solemn and cold voice echoed all over the mountain range. As long as I'm here, you will never touch my possession. Ordinary profound practitioners don't know why this happens, but some speculate. In all truth, the representatives sent by the four great sacred lands received a blow they would never forget. They almost lost their lives. It was a warning. The Lost Heaven Master is actually a monarch. Even though the representatives couldn't sense his cultivation, they were sure the blow that day was equal to their monarch. It means Lost Heaven Master is probably 9th level of Sovereign Profound Realm or above. A new, powerful monarch has emerged in the Profound Sky continent. Not only does he possess immense power, but his foundation is deeper than the four great sacred grounds thought. The leader of each sacred ground contemplated their decision. The fear of the unknown is the worst. Mighty Heavenly Sword Region. Sun Moon Divine Hall. Absolute Monarch Sanctuary. Supreme Ocean Palace. The four super factions decided to observe the Lost Heaven sect for a while and buried the hatchet so they could research more about the sensitivity and heart-linking pill. This passive approach shocked the 7 nations. However, when they are thinking about offending such an unknown variable like Lost Heaven Master, the four great sacred grounds is actually wise. Know your enemy before making a move. This phrase describes the four great sacred grounds' stance on the Lost Heaven sect. It is also a sign of acknowledgement. The Lost Heaven sect is powerful and not a pushover. The storm continued for 3 months before gradually calming down. The times pass unknowingly fast, and the Lost Heaven sect has stood for a year. It's time for the New Year ceremony. Chain Clouds Mountain Range. Lost Heaven sect, Gravity Chamber Room. The sound of an explosion echoed every 5 seconds. A black-haired young man stood amidst the messy room. His well-developed body glistened with sweat as black and purple-colored energy swirled in his abdomen area. The energy condensed rapidly, becoming grain-like. It emitted dim, deep purple light. An invisible air blew through the area and the young man's hair, allowing his golden eyes to appear. His handsome face has this healthy pinkish hue, and a frown gradually forms. This is no good. Yu Long said with a helpless expression. The unorthodox art of ghost and orthodox, art of violet mist is stuck at level 10. I need the perfect harmony between yin, darkness, and yang, light, elements. At this point, the summer moon grand mist wouldn't produce primordial energy to the amount I want. He sighed and sat down. I need to enter a seclusion. 30th level gravity doesn't cut it anymore. You're being too harsh on yourself, master. Yuin comes from the Kaiju world. She crouched on the ground and revealed her cleavage to him. I believe no one could compete with you in any field. Sometimes, a bottleneck is a good thing. You can slow down and review things slowly. Yulong glanced at Yuin and cleared his throat. Well, we have some breakthroughs on profound aspects and bloodline limit. However, aren't you the one who told me a true god expert could wipe me easily? Yuin smiled and adjusted her words. I said true god experts could defeat and not kill you if they don't give you enough time. It was the truth, but you're becoming stronger quickly. In no time, true god experts won't pose a threat to you. As if they exist. Yulong rolled his eyes. After all true gods have perished and indicated the end of the age of gods. Yuin shook her head gently. What you said is indeed true. There aren't many godlike existences in the primal chaos anymore, but my instinct tells me something unexpected will happen. You should never question a woman's instinct, master. Yulong's mouth twitched because this was Yuin's ace technique of so-called woman's instinct used to tell him to go outside and touch the grass. Talking about true god, Yulong hasn't visited that place. Blue Pole Planet is a literal starter pack for a protagonist. Yulong has taken Phoenix Legacy, but there is actually one more Beast God Legacy in the Blue Wind Empire. He never went there because he was busy with many other things. Dragon God Trial Ground. Yulong mumbled to himself. Yuin's eyes twinkled as she hugged Yulong's arm. Are we finally going to visit the Dragon God? Well, yes. Maybe taking a breather doesn't sound so bad. Yulong returned while shaking the Emerald Phoenix off. He wore a shirt and picked up a coat on the floor. The clothes look so light, but they are actually several tons heavy. Let's go. Yulong placed the coat over his shoulder as he walked out of the gravity chamber. He used the space folding array and arrived at the Lost Heaven Sex Master room. He saw his profound incarnation sitting on the sect master's seat and smiled. It seems I have to leave you behind for the sex protection. The profound incarnation nodded, silently gathering profound energy into its body. Yulong and Yuin walked out, seeing white snow fall from the sky. The winter has come. A new year has begun. Xia Qingyu appeared in her blue snow robe and greeted, Big brother, you finally come out. She was also accompanied by Qingyu, who wore white-green snow robe. Yulong. Yulong smiled and greeted back, Morning, Qingyu, Sweruo. Wanna watch the snow falling? Sure. Both responded immediately. As they watched the snowflakes fall, 3 more people appeared. Hongguan, Lily, and Chu Yueli. Young master, everyone is waiting at the courtyard. Hongguan reported while bowing slightly. Lily giggled and added, they are eager to see you after weeks, young master. Yes. Chu Yueli agreed with Lily's statement. Your presence is needed for this special moment. Yulong gazed into the distance and chuckled, I see. Let's celebrate the new year then. After that, a new journey is awaiting us. Chapter 70, Entering a Seclusion. Around a big and long dinner table, Yulong and his family gathered for a New Year celebration. However, when Yulong randomly dropped a bomb about him wanting to enter seclusion, they were shocked. What? You're planning to enter seclusion? Yulong's family members are staring at him with bewilderment. Yulong shrugged and answered casually, my profound arts have reached a bottleneck and need a reference to break through. Both are stuck at level 10, and I can't do anything about it for now. Level 10. Su Sanshin mumbled solemnly. Within the Shadow Realm and Lost Heaven sect, profound arts mastery is categorized by levels. Level 1 is the lowest, and level 10 is the highest. Only a handful of people could reach level 7 mastery, and those people have a deep comprehension of their profound arts. Level 8 is when one's profound arts reach the aesthetic realm, where one's energy manipulation is so smooth that there is no need for extra movement when executing a skill. With a simple finger flick, a force generated may exceed one's cultivation. Level 9 is even more abnormal. People who reached this level have fully traced and integrated their profound arts into nature. Energy consumption was abruptly reduced by 90%. They also could produce a domain and even defeat someone one major realm higher than themselves. As for level 10, Su Sanshin couldn't imagine how godlike it was. Only Yulong reached this realm so far. Besides him, Su Sanshin believed Xia Qingyu, the little granddaughter-in-law, could grasp level 10 mastery. Where are you going? Uxin asked about the important matter first. Yulong smiled, Wasteland of Death. Wasteland of Death. Everyone sighed in relief. They thought Yulong would go somewhere far away. The Wasteland of Death is only a few 100,000 miles from the Lost Heaven sect. The Wasteland of Death is a land that was left to grow wild. The entire wasteland was thoroughly overrun with dry, withered grass and rocks lined the rugged terrain. Spanning 950 kilometers long and 800 kilometers wide, countless profound beasts roamed the wasteland, and these profound beasts were mostly wild and ferocious. It is one of the 3 most dangerous areas within the Blue Wind Empire. The number of profound beasts within it is at least 100 times more than the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. It is heaven for profound beasts and hell for practitioners. Along with its reputation, its dense population of profound beasts attracts large numbers of practitioners and treasure hunters. Every year, the deaths of practitioners within the rugged land number more than 100,000, and thus, the place was named Wasteland of Death. However, this only applies to weak people. Su Sanshin and Su Nanan have been on the Wasteland of Death several times. They knew the strongest beast there was only at Sky Profound Realm. But why the Wasteland of Death? The grandmother asked with a confused expression. There is a god legacy there. Yulong answered honestly. They have long known about Yuan's existence and power, so god legacy isn't a new topic. Still, they are shocked. Wait, are you sure there is a god legacy there? Your grandfather and I have been to the Wasteland of Death several times. But we never discovered anything special. Please forgive my rudeness, but a legacy of gods won't show itself to unworthy people. Yuan suddenly opened her mouth. Sometimes, to find it, one must depend on fate and destiny. This is what you call a lucky chance or fortuitous encounter. Fate and destiny. Kang Yu stared at Yulong with her bright eyes. Yuan smirked and commented, "Hee, it seems Kang Yu has gotten the gist of it. Are you saying that my son is a lucky fellow?" Yu Zhan couldn't help but laugh. "You're good at joking, Yuan." "I'm not joking, Lord Yu. Think about it. It would be weird if my master isn't lucky, considering the amount of karma he had." Yuan recalled when she viewed Yulong's past life. On the side, Xia Qingyu smiled because she also could view Yulong's greatness like Kang Yu. As she becomes older, her vision also becomes more profound. She could discern more abstract matters like luck. Yulong has abundant luck, making his soul appear like a beautiful golden sun. After a while, everyone finished their food. "So, when are you going to depart?" Yu Zhan leaned on his chair as he stared at his youngest son. Yulong put on a thoughtful expression and responded, "Maybe in a week or 2. I want to spend more time with family before going to the Wasteland of Death." Before Yu Zhan could speak, Uxin grinned and gave Yulong a thumb up. "As expected of my son, you know spending more with family is also important. You've been locking yourself, so mother is sad," she added with a low humph. A wry expression appeared on Yulong's handsome face because he was indeed spending less and less time with his family. He was chasing for a breakthrough. For the next 2 weeks, Yulong did nothing but spend more of his time with his family members and companions. Although he doesn't train, his state of mind becomes calmer. Oh, Yulong is also formally engaged with Xia Qingyu and Kang Yu now. After the relentless persuasion from his family, Yu Long could only accept his fate and walked on the path of polygamy. Well, having more wives is encouraged when one is as capable as him. Of course, it won't stop with just the two girls. There are other women in Yu Long's life, and they have accompanied him for a very long time. They deserved more. However, that's for another day. Yu Long's status is currently sensitive, after all. So many people are paying attention to the Lost Heaven sect's greatest genius and Lost Heaven Master's disciple. Well, thanks to this status, the protagonist clan wholeheartedly accepted the engagement annulment between Xiao, Yun, Che and Xia Qingyu with some benefits. The protagonist's grandfather, Xiao Lai, is a very stubborn elderly. But with some negotiations, he accepted the deal quickly. As long as it is within the sex limit, Xiao Lai could ask the Lost Heaven sect for 2 favors in the future. The Xiao clan on the floating cloud city will also receive some resources and 3 outer disciple spots in the Lost Heaven sect. It is such a generous offer, considering not many people could join the Lost Heaven sect because they only accepted young shadow agents from the Shadow Realm so far. No one in the Profound Sky continent gets this kind of treatment. It shows the heaviness of Yu Long's status. Above a summit, Yu Long sat with Yin and observed the mountain range silently. "How is the Phoenix clan?" Yu Long asked the Emerald Phoenix. Besides serving Yu Long, Yin was deliberately tasked to oversee the Phoenix clan in the 10,000 Beasts mountain range. They are growing fast with the modified world ode of the Phoenix and the resources he has given. Feng Beishuan and some elders of the Phoenix clan have successfully reached Sky Profound realms. They should be able to protect themselves now, but it's better to be careful than sorry. That's why the Phoenix clan is still hiding. Some young members entered the Lost Heaven sect a few months ago with different identities, and they are adjusting quickly, considering their bloodline is purer than the members of Phoenix Divine Empire currently. Phoenix clan is doing well, Yin answered while munching on a fried dough stick. So good. She finished her snack and continued, "It wouldn't take long before the Phoenix clan possesses enough power not to get bullied. Even the haughty Divine Phoenix Empire is nothing to them in 2 or 3 years. You said that, but you're also curious about your other half, right?" Yu Long smirked at the Emerald Phoenix. Yin giggled but didn't say anything afterward. The other residual soul of the Phoenix in the Divine Phoenix Empire has gotten corrupted due to her followers and even attacking her other half. Women hold grudges, and Yin is no different. Yu Long blew a warm breath and said, "It's time to go." Jumping from the summit, Yu Long fell from an extreme height and enjoyed the turbulent air. Yu Long watched the ground become closer and closer as he casually landed on the ground, killing the momentum with a profound aspect. Or else the land will get destroyed. Where are they? Yu Long looked around and found everyone waiting for him at the secret pathway of the Lost Heaven sect. Yin teleported and arrived on his side. "Yu Long, we have been waiting for you." Uxin waved her hand at him. "What takes you so long?" Yu Long laughed, "Hee hee, my bad. After strengthening the array, I watched the clouds for a bit." Watching clouds? Yu Zhan and others were speechless. Sometimes, they don't know what Yu Long has in his mind. Yu Long shrugged and picked sword-shaped gemstones from his spatial ring. He handed it to his parents and grandparents. "These are the array key of the Lost Heaven sect. I will leave the sect behind in your hand while I'm away. My avatar will stay behind to be the sect's guardian, so the management." "We know." Su Sanshan responded before he could finish his words. "Leave it to us. The Lost Heaven sect won't lose a piece when you return." Yet. Su Nanan supported her husband's statement. Uxin and Yu Zhan glanced at each other, laughing slightly. "Go, we will watch the place for you. Also, have Yin send letters once in a while." Since Yin could manipulate space, she could teleport back and forth between the Wasteland of Death and the Lost Heaven sect. Noted. Yu Long gave Yin a knowing look. "Haha, I will update you on Master's progress." Yin giggled excitedly. Yu Long glanced at the 5 ladies, excluding Yuan, who followed him to the wasteland of death. Are you ready? Yes. Xia Qingyu responded with a smile. Kang Yu nodded while crossing her hand. Hong Guan, Lily, and Chu Yueli also gave an affirmative response as they stood beside him. See you later. Yu Long bade farewell to his family. Yuan twisted her hand, and the space fabric around them slowly folded, allowing them to move 100,000 miles away. They arrived at the wasteland of death and observed the no-man land with an interesting expression. So, this is the wasteland of death. Hong Guan blinked her eyes. What dry land? Yug, I can't feel much vitality on the entire land. Lily frowned slightly. Chu Yueli stays quiet, but she also doesn't like the wasteland of death's environment. Although she preferred a silent and cold place, this land is desolate. Yu Long closed his eyes and expanded profound sense to the max, which allows him to sense two powerful sky-profound beasts in the center of wasteland of death. Follow me. Yu Long wrapped them with profound energy and used minor teleportation aspects several times to reach their destination. In the blink of an eye, two flood dragons suddenly entered their field of vision and roared at them. Humans! Get away from this place, scram! Well, that wasn't a warm welcome. Yu Long commented casually. Let me handle them. Chu Yueli said while floating forward. No one stopped the fairy of the frozen glass as they watched her approaching the profound beasts. The cold beauty exuded intense chill. Chronicle of Frozen World, all things ice. Chu Yueli pushed her hand and created a freezing wave beyond the flood dragon's strength. W what? Noo. The profound beasts couldn't even dodge and turn into ice sculptures. Wow! Lily clapped her hands in amazement. Not bad. Hong Guan felt the ice was very strong, similar to her fire. On the other side, Yuan had this proud mom look on her face, which made Yu Long roll his eyes. I raised that girl. Yeah, I know. Yu Long ignored the emerald phoenix and landed on the ground, scanning the area. He saw a rock formation and discovered an entrance into a cave. This is it. He grinned. Hong Guan, can you place an array around the area? Also, add an illusion array so no other people will disturb us. Consider it done. Hong Guan responded and disappeared. Yuan peeked into the cave and mumbled, so, this is where the dragon god trial ground resides. No wonder I have never heard of him. He picked this land of all places. A few minutes later, Hong Guan returned and reported, done, and I didn't sense any humans' presence in the 10-mile radius. Good. Let's greet the dragon god, shall we? They entered the cave and were immediately greeted with a massive chamber surrounded by tall stone walls. It was dark, but they could still see because of their sensitivities. A pair of massive, azure-colored eyes appeared in the air. Each eye possessed a slit, which gave off intense pressure. Welcome to my trial, humans. A deep voice invaded their ears. This is Dragon God Trial Ground, and by completing it, you will receive my legacy. Normally, the difficulty isn't hard, but since you, young man, brought 6 more people, the difficulties will be increased drastically. You can tell them to wait outside. No, let me experience your trial at the highest difficulty. Yu Long responded confidently. The azure eyes squinted, you're but a mere mortal at Sky Profound Realm. Don't bite more than you can chew, or you will regret it. I won't. Now give me your hardest trials. Yu Long insisted. Let him take your toughest trials, Dragon God. Normal trials won't work on him. Yuan finally spoke her mind. Who? The Dragon God suddenly felt a familiar presence. The azure eyes widened in shock. P. Phoenix, you are alive. Yes. Yuan returned nonchalantly. But how? Yuan smirked and answered, my master revived me. He gave me this new body and power. Master? Reviving you? That's impossible. The dragon god couldn't believe his ears for a moment. He doubted Yuan. The era of gods eliminated the primordial aura that sustains our lives. Some gods could seal their strength and stay alive, but their condition is no different than a corpse. You, on the other hand, look like you have gotten constructed again from scratch. Very perceptive. Yuan acknowledged the dragon god's sense. But I didn't lie. The revival is not impossible because my existence is the best living proof of it. Hehe, let me introduce you to my master. Yuan walked and hugged Yulong from behind. His name is Yulong, the Kaiju Maker. Kaiju Maker. The dragon god and Yulong's companion stared at Yulong. Yulong felt their gazes and understood that he had to explain this matter himself. Well, it's about time to reveal his power. Nice to meet you, dragon god. Yulong walked boldly toward the azure eyes. My name is Yulong. I'm Kaiju Maker. In short, I was able to create kaiju, or monsters if you want to call it that, with my power. Also, from now on, we will be roommates. Let's get along. Yulong's golden eyes released faint electricity. And that's how Yulong met one of the strongest existence in the primal chaos. This is the start of their brotherhood.
Thanks for listening.